got nothing to start.
We're this having nothing is something. The moment you say words, you got it, and now you started. Well, where'd you listen to the band on? The internet.
Okay.
Keep going.
What if
Come on, Dr.
there was nowhere to go?
Pick up the pace. I can see it. You heard.
I'm Frank. This is the Crown Canon.
I'm Brandon. This is the Crown Canon.
And this is the Crown Canon. This is the Crown Canon. Where we smoke movies and we talk weed.
Yep.
Yes.
And if you don't like heat, get the fuck out.
You gotta go. It's for your own benefit. If you've never seen it, that's fine.
That's
It's
okay.
If you've seen it and you actively dislike it, you gotta go
Get the
because
fuck out.
we're saving you time.
We're heating this.
Your Wi-Fi is a heat joke. I'm not gonna. I mean, I was about to say I won't give it away, but it's like nobody's gonna come here and steal your Wi-Fi. And they wouldn't tell you?
Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd just be rude.
It's like, oh yeah, I forgot we promote this.
Sometimes.
Well, kind of.
And we're getting.
We
back.
have a Facebook page, just don't use it.
Oh yeah.
We try.
I don't try. I'm Frank.
Brandon.
Yes.
Life happens, man. If this podcast took place in any other country, it would be very consistent. But America is chaos right now, so are we. Yeah, because America said, fuck COVID. Everyone go back to work. We need money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Is it fun?
If to be
honest, you like to listen, listener?
Yeah, let us know at our email, thechroniccanon@gmail.com, or at Twitter @chroniccanon. Bum bum bum. Yeah, are we calling you Duke?
Yes.
Okay, Duke.
I figured that was going to be the way it was
Yeah, you
going to
gotta get up in there.
Okay.
Mouth.
All right. Duke's mouth is all on this mic. Let's go.
He's
Cut it out.
Yes.
I'm
What's
Frank.
up?
I'm Brandon.
I'm Duke.
There it is. Yeah. Hello.
Couple times.
You had to have done.
Yeah,
we talk
one
about all our
time, one
friends.
time
Color
it was
and
really
money,
weird.
definitely.
I had to say Jesse's brother because I didn't want to say your name for some reason.
Yeah, we're weird about the names, but I don't know why. I started it. I don't know why I'm acting like it's a thing. It's only my doing. Where I was like, let's not use names, but kind of use names.
What
It's
kind
fine.
of? It's all right. It's
Yeah.
okay. Whenever we
We're sharing on all our personal stuff.
Whenever we're not being nice, we don't share names. Like the story with our main man's about
the Space Jam.
Yeah, like
Calling it out
no
again.
one knows who that is.
Yeah. Well,
do you
he
mean?
still didn't say who it
Yes.
was. Hey, there it is.
Time. I forgot the smoke buddy on the
Hey.
couch though.
Son
I'll
of
grab
a
it, I'll grab
bitch.
Can you bring the incense shit over here too?
We've also changed locations. We've moved from upstairs to downstairs.
It sucks because I'm like so hungry. Like, and all this shit behind me is just like tempting. Like,
Wait,
I can make a quick
we're
Sammy.
gonna watch Hugo.
I can make a quick Sammy.
You can't
On
eat on
Brandon's-
mic. That's disgusting.
Brandon's mic
You're
now.
spilling incense all over the floor. What are you doing?
Sorry if the incense. got
You know,
on the
it was
floor.
a little overcooked. That's how. Okay, so I legitimately have a problem with burning incense too long because I'll forget I lit it and then like forget to blow it out. You know, and so it's just on fire, like burning intensely down to the nub, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I gotta go burn it out. But it's
That's how they
okay.
make- That's how they make their money, man.
I'm practically wasting incense, basically.
You should just get one of those incense sticks that was like really thick. Like this incense I got, it was just like they were like either like a foot tall and they were like this thick. So like and they were like, and I would light it up and blow it out, and then like it would just go out. And I'm like, oh, I'm just too used to regular incense. You have to keep that lit for like 2 full minutes.
You got to keep it lit. Okay, that's all we're saying.
Which is why we're smoking right now. Hey, if you don't smoke,
That's okay.
that's chill.
That's
You can-
something we forget to remind everybody of. And
'Cause
also,
who
this is
doesn't
the
smoke
first
weed?
time.
But
This is
also,
the first time you've listened to the Chronic Canon. Welcome.
yeah, and we spoil lots of movies.
We spoil like every movie, almost every episode. So
So you just hopefully you like movies and have a general idea of what's going on, or else you're gonna get very disappointed very quickly.
yeah,
Well,
that is true.
hopefully we are good enough to just make you want to listen.
but still, if you don't like heat, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I still
You
don't
know,
agree with that.
speaking of heat, you
Heat
distracted me from our heat check.
Heat check.
I did not
Duke.
mean to.
How do you feel
Heat
about
check.
heat, and why do you love it?
You've prepared your essay, right?
Well, if you've read my like 10-paragraph review on Letterboxd,
10
then, like,
paragraphs?
It's got it's
I
it was
haven't.
really freaking
he
long.
knew what he had
Is
to
it
do.
glowing or is it
He-
abysmal?
He knew what he had to do.
It's glowing.
He gave it
Okay,
half a
good.
star.
All right,
Good, obvious.
I will say this immediately. Heat is my all-time favorite action movie. I fucking love Heat. It is an amazing movie. Well, when I first watched it, I just heard many little things, and just from the entire pace of it, I've never felt a reaction to a movie where it was so thrilling and being so involved with the characters, care about them so much, and not and a lot. And you can have that cliche in action movies where, yeah, I want to see the action, not the romance, but I gave a shit about the romance just as much as I did like the
With
insane
Edie?
bank
I'm a
heist. Yeah.
salesman. I work in
Yeah,
metals.
yeah, from either side, with Robert De Niro and then with Al Pacino dealing with the issues with his wife and stepdaughter. It's like you really do care, and also just the whole feud of Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
You remind me of a point.
Feud? You mean lovers quarrel?
You remind
Yes.
me of a point that I like about Heat, like more than most things about Heat, which is a lot.
yes,
But the fact that I don't understand, and this has been from the moment I've seen Heat for the first time, how it is so emotional for me, like, and how it manages to pull tears, like even like the first time I saw it, the scene where Pacino is at the scene of the crime in which the little girl has been killed by Waingro.
Yeah.
Well, the 16-year-old.
yeah,
I think
young.
she's 16 or 15, something
Yeah,
like that. That's
something.
horrifying.
yeah, it was
But-
around that.
He's at the crime scene, and then the mother shows up to see what happened to her daughter, and Pacino has to stop her, but he grabs her in an embrace, and the music and the camera and the and the fact that Pacino's just like staring at her with the most blank expression I've ever seen Pacino give in a movie. Something about it just reads like I can't do anything. I know how horrible this is, and there's nothing I can do. And Pacino's somebody who's seen this and dealt with this time and time again, but it doesn't lose its intensity, it seems. You
What
know?
does he say to her over and over? Where
I
he's like, "You don't want to see that,"
I don't
it's
remember if
like,
he even
don't-
says anything.
or he keeps
She
saying
keeps
something.
saying, "Where's my baby?" or
Right.
Yeah,
something.
like,
he
let me
keeps
see
saying
her.
something, and he's like, "You don't want to," or she's gone, or it's okay. It's one of those three.
It might be
goddamn
she's gone.
things.
That sounds
It could
about
be
right.
that.
Who do you like more in the movie, Duke? Do you like Pacino or do you like De Niro?
I gotta go for my man De Niro.
I think I'm talking performance wise. I think.
That is so difficult because
I was talking character wise, performance wise.
with character wise, I would say De Niro, but performance wise, that's much more difficult because like I've always been
Okay.
I've always been more of a fan of De Niro acting wise. I didn't get as much of like into Pacino's really good shit until very recently. Like just from this year, I watched Heat, Carlito's Way,
Nice.
Glenn Ross,
is
and like
weirdly in it.
and yeah, and he's just like so. I never expected Al Pacino to be as good of a dramatic actor, but like the scene that Jesse was talking about, I would never really expect to like feel like that type of emotion from an Al Pacino scene, from just like growing up and like knowing him over the years, just knowing
Yeah.
how he was, just as Scarface, and then that shitty ass cameo in Jack and Jill. So like,
I'll be honest. I
Like
really
Pacino.
didn't. I didn't acquaint myself with Pacino really until my early 20s.
When I think of Heat and I think of acting, I'm in my head. I'm like, okay, well, obviously De Niro, like in terms of like acting and performance, just like that man is killing it. He's blue steel wrapped around a person.
Are you about to
But
mention who I
if it-
hope you're going to mention?
But my favorite, and probably not. I'm sorry, but half the reason I watched the movie is Al Pacino. Like, well, if I had to
Ah.
favor one over the other, it would be Al Pacino because for some reason he gives me the most. Or like the reason I
Yeah.
love De Niro so much is how far I have to reach for him.
yeah,
I
you
do
know?
prefer.
That's a great
and
way of putting
I
it.
do
That is a
prefer
really good
Pacino
way.
and Heat, like, personally. I don't think it's De Niro's apex, where I think it might be Pacino's apex.
I'd
like-
say The
But
Godfather.
Carlito's
is-
way too, though.
But like, here's the thing: like,
An
I
Irishman.
like the whole like through the majority of the like when I watched Heat for the first time, I was like more on like Pacino's side. But then like when I watch the ending, you're just like, I don't know now. I don't know. Like
it couldn't have ended any other way.
I know, but like you just like part of me just wanted to see him get away.
Yeah,
so
course.
fucking.
But I think
bad.
that's
But
also
you also
the
want
intrinsic
Pacino to
nature.
I know
succeed.
that's also like the pain, but it's like it's fucking perfect.
the
It's-
intrinsic
it's-
nature of
it's-
movies. You want the guy that you've been rooting for in a way to.
I
But
know.
we're rooting for both.
I
I
know.
know.
You
And
really
that's
want both to
complicated.
succeed.
and that's
At
what's
least they
just-
hold hands.
and that's what's so great. And I think that also just like is like such like a great like ending for me specifically because I'm like as a huge pro wrestling fan, one of my favorite things that happen is after like an amazing match, they like shake hands and show respect after the match. It's always like one of my favorite things to happen, and that just kind of like seemed like what it was. It's like
It's like their good game.
Good game.
it's like it's like good game in a way. It's just like because like literally
Love you,
he just
brother.
he pulls his hand out to him. It's just like oh god damn it.
Next time.
At least
See you in
it
the next
ends
life.
there.
Because all that entire build up, because when like he's like, because Al Pacino is so, he never denies how impressed he is with De Niro the entire film, and that's also
Yeah.
what makes it so powerful.
He's
And-
good.
He's good. He's better than all of you.
So this leads to my next question. Favorite quote from the movie?
This is probably just by default, just because I scream "Give me all you got" at least once a day.
The best.
So do we.
Give me all you got. Give me all you got.
I'll
give
just
me
be
all
in
you
the
got.
house and I'll just hear it, like upstairs or downstairs,
Give me all you got.
and then I'll scream back, like all the way up it. Some
Ralph,
other out of
sit down.
context.
She's got a great ass in your heads all the way up.
But-
that whole scene at fucking BJ's too is full of them.
The table and
Yes.
die walking a ducky.
Yeah,
That's not
that's
what he
it.
says.
No, he says die walking a doggy.
No, it's something different.
Something
We-
different.
we
We do this
always
every
say you're gonna
time.
die
No,
walking
we
your
said
doggy.
we said little doggy.
no,
No.
you're gonna die walking your doggy. That's how we always used to say it.
Die
It's
walking
wrong.
your little doggy.
It's wrong.
That is wrong.
No,
Well, you
but
can
you're gonna
get
die
ki-
walking your doggy is
You
also
can
wrong.
get killed walking your doggy.
You can get killed walking
Walking
your
your
doggy.
doggy.
It's
Walking
not
your
as good.
Doggy. It's
You're gonna
he
die
pronounces
walking your doggy.
That's what I like better.
He's pronouncing. He's enunciating doggy so much. Yeah, doggy.
You can get killed walking your doggy.
He's on coke. That's like that.
I know. I know.
What a
But-
creative choice.
Isn't that the scene where he's also singing? Like, and we'll be dancing.
No. That's earlier when he sets up this meet.
Oh, okay.
When he's like, "Go down to Phoenix."
oh,
or
we
whatever.
don't also the one we don't say enough is that don't waste my motherfucking time.
But we can't forget. I'll look it up.
All right,
What?
Why do you want to know what I read, lady?
What were you gonna say?
Before we get off topic with you, I just have to give.
What do you mean?
I know,
Keep going.
but
Forget
because-
Shutter Island.
You know, before we talk about the actual movie, like that's discussion for this podcast, I just have to give
Whoa,
Put the
whoa,
book
whoa.
down.
Pot.
podcast. I apologize,
Yeah, you
Keep
should.
going.
but I have to give a special shout out to one of my favorite childhood uncles, Machete, for being in the greatest action film of all time, Danny Trejo.
Wasn't
Love
that
you, man.
like his first movie?
First, like real role.
and
Yeah.
and it's funny, and his name is Trejo in it. That's just
yeah,
like, yeah.
that's fucking hilarious.
Well, 'cause the fucking Michael Mann doesn't care. He's like, I want it to be real.
Yeah.
No, Danny Trejo
Is
is
the
like
greatest.
he's just a gem, dude.
remember
He
right
is.
before
He's
this
great
all
in the
went
movie too.
Remember
He
right
is.
before
He's
this all
awesome.
went to shit that he saved some dude from a car crash or something?
Oh,
yeah.
Before the world fell apart.
Yeah,
we all
like-
had a
forgot
good
about Danny
Samaritan.
Trejo being a
Yeah.
hero.
I remember we all were like laughing. Like imagine fucking like
Yeah.
you're in a daze just Danny Trejo.
He also runs a donut shop in California, Trejo's Donuts.
Good for him.
And also, just last thing, so we have it on the record. Lady, why are you so interested in what I read or what I do? And then
Lady.
before that, it's what are you reading? A book about metals. What kind of work do you do? Lady, why are you so interested in what I read or what I do? The greatest 4 lines in movie history. Right there.
Robert De Niro.
Just like, what? Is it stupid? It is. I do this every time. Heat is a
They
stupid
hold
movie.
No.
hands.
But it's also
Miami
the
Vice
best.
is the worst.
No,
Heat is the top. Manhunter might be in the middle.
No,
Fuck off.
Manhunter's
Manhunter might be
actually-
objectively like the best,
So is Heat, though.
Ah.
but Heat
Heat's
is
the best movie.
It's in construction,
is.
man.
Heat is my favorite quote unquote movie. Just like you sit down, it's summer, you're in a theater, and you're just like, what's today's thing?
Yeah.
Just like it doesn't matter what you see. Heat is the best thing a
Endlessly
movie could be. Entertainment.
Yeah.
That is true. It has
Now-
everything.
Duke, another question we got to talk to you about.
Heat check.
Kind of. About one Mr. Martin Scorsese.
Oh yeah, we never said. In case you haven't listened to this podcast, we talk Sessy on this podcast, and it's
At least for
Sessy,
now.
These are the Sessy sessions.
and it's Sessy. It's
Mhm.
not Sazy. It's Sessy.
Okay, episode
Sessy.
20?
21.
21.
The pad, it was 20.
21 of the Sassy series. This is technically episode 23.
we
We
can
are-
finally drink now.
We're in the home.
We did a little
stretch.
early last episode.
That's true. You got a beer? I
We
drink a
have
beer.
lots of beers. I'll go get a beer.
federal
I'll go,
US
I'll get it.
marshal.
I'll get it.
So, anyway, Duke, what is your relationship with Martin Scorsese as of right now? Has he been somebody that you've always enjoyed? Has he come later in life? And how do you feel about him as a whole?
Definitely later in life, I would say I got into Scorsese because especially the films he made at the time growing up, either I wasn't into it, like plots like Aviator, which is
Mhm, mhm.
nowadays a freaking awesome movie, which
Yeah,
I
it is
could
awesome.
I could discuss on and on, but I don't want to. And because
You're too late.
Because I think ironically, the first Scorsese film that I saw like as actual new releases in theaters was Shutter Island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was like my first.
Today's film, spoiler.
I wanted to do a triple crack.
which is funny because I think I might have before that I might have only seen like just his Cape Fear remake, Color of Money definitely,
Mhm.
and probably like an AMC TV version of The Departed.
So you
Like,
make me feel better for not being as acquainted with the Cess when I first started this. It's just like I feel like we're a product of the times. Like we saw Wolf of Wall Street. You know, did you say you saw Hugo? Did you see Hugo?
I did see Hugo.
Didn't we all see that with your family? I
Yeah,
feel like
we
I
all-
saw it
know.
with your family.
I saw.
Was
I also
you-
saw Shutter Island with you guys.
Okay, you
Yes.
definitely were with me then, man.
Dude, I was with my mom and my sister. I'm 100%
Okay, no, Frank.
sure.
I may not know if it
Were
was.
we all
right,
there?
Let him paint
I
the
know.
picture.
I know for a fact. Jesse and my dad went with me to Shutter Island.
Then I was
but-
not there.
I don't remember my dad.
Unless you
being-
went again.
Well, Jesse, you'd seen Shutter Island multiple times, so I don't know.
Oh
if that
well, then
was,
at that point,
I don't know if that
I
was your.
definitely saw it with you, Frank.
I don't know
buy
if that,
that.
I don't remember if
Because
that
I
was your
remember
first or
Frank
second
leaning
viewing.
into me 5 minutes in and being like, "It was he's crazy the whole time." And I was just like, "Fuck you, no way." And
I
then I
was
got
in-
to the end, and
yeah,
I was like,
fuck
"I
you, no
fucking
way."
hate
I was
you."
a douchebag 14-year-old. I was just like, come on. This dude.
Then
I
how
just-
did it get me, a 22-year-old, to like up until the end?
Because you're not a douchebag.
Because I'm smoking
But-
pot.
Anyway,
Yeah, what's going on, man? This is
What?
fucking nuts.
This is spooky.
Whoa. I paid money
Spooky.
to see Cheech and Chong review Shutter Island.
Oh please!
Is that what I just did?
This is spooky,
That's what
man.
it
felt like.
spooky
Hey,
movie.
man, this is spooky.
You know-
It's fucking weird.
You know, you know, he's just crazy.
Watch it, man. He's crazy.
I'm just stoned.
You
He's
don't think
just
you don't think he's
perpetually
crazy just
stoned.
because Leonardo.
So do you
DiCaprio's
have a favorite Cessy right now?
I'm very torn with two Cessy films right now that are my
Okay.
favorite. And that's between Taxi Driver and The Irishman.
A good two to be torn.
Because Taxi Driver was definitely like one of the films that helped me get more into movies, especially when it comes to
High
screenwriting.
school,
Because
before high school, when about?
uh,
Did you see it?
When did you see it?
middle school, like
Okay.
that's when I really started getting more into
so,
Cessy.
So
Mhm,
young.
mhm.
because
I was about that young,
is-
maybe younger.
because
I
after
would say I was like 13.
after seeing Shutter Island, the next Cessy I remembered watching like full length was Goodfellas.
Nah,
That was like 12.
That was
or
a big
13.
one.
and
uh,
you saw Taxi Driver after those two or
Ye-
before?
I saw Taxi Driver after those.
Okay.
And Taxi Driver immediately became my favorite. It's to this day one of my all-time favorite films, but I haven't seen it in so long that and I keep thinking about The Irishman almost every day since I've watched it on Netflix. And so I'm just like, I don't
I mean, Taxi Driver still whips. I liked it the most I've ever liked it the last time we watched it.
yeah,
But, like,
absolutely.
I mean, The Irishman is literally undeniable.
And
The
I,
Irishman slaps harder than anything else.
it does. But I also just have to shout out Color of Money just because Paul Newman's my all-time favorite actor. It's
Yeah.
only movie he won an Oscar for, and so that's always like it's
He's-
cool that he
he's
won it.
incredible.
It's
Long
cool that he won it
overdue.
with
Cessy did
Cessy
it.
behind the
Cessy got
camera.
him that
Yeah,
Oscar.
So have you-
finally,
have you seen every Paul Newman movie or almost all of them?
almost every single Paul Newman.
So
movie.
where does Color of Money fall where you think performance-wise? Like, is it top 5, top 10?
top 3 probably?
Really?
That's
you
what I
used
love
to
to
say it was
hear.
low tier when we were young.
Yeah, because the last time I watched it, I was like 9 years old, and I remembered like I hated Tom Cruise at the time, and
Well,
so
I
I
also
was
think
biased with that.
Just like down on
yeah,
the
so it was
movie
just
in
already
general.
down to that because fuck you, Tom Cruise.
I
And he
will
was a piece
say-
of shit to Paul Newman the whole movie. So probably little me's like, oh,
My
you
mom
little
is the
fuck.
one who peddled Paul Newman to Lucas pretty hard, and it's because you were named Lucas because of Cool Hand Luke, right?
And also because for some reason when I was young, I kept stealing mom's VHS copy of Nobody's Fool and like just popping it in.
It's a good movie. Bruce Willis gets like thrown out a window.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That's about all I remember
It's-
from the movie.
and
but it was
and
good.
you see Melanie Griffin's boobs and that's because my mom kept saying like yeah I walked in and it was apparently the nudity scene that like the nude scene that like I was when I was watching the movie my mom was like no and she just takes it out of
Just fucking
the
was that
nodding
your
his
first?
head.
Was that your first nude scene? That's important in every film.
Yeah.
Goer's life.
first
Why do you
boobs I
think
ever
he
see is
remembers-
Melanie Griffin.
Melanie
Get
Griffith.
fucking pee.
Melanie
Griffith.
Griffith.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Griffith.
You can clearly see it was that important
down,
to me.
It was. Oh. Okay, so top 3 now. What's number 1 then?
Number 1 for Ceci.
No.
Oh, Newman. Cool Hand Luke is number 1. Then 2 would be Butch Cassidy. 3 Sting, and then 4 Color Money.
Oh, okay. So
For
top
So it's
4.
top 4.
Performance wise, it's
that's what-
it would beat his
Oh,
performance in
yeah, that's
Sting
right.
because he's not really as much of the lead character in
Got
the
it.
Sting.
Newman is great in Sting.
Newman's great.
He's
Period.
amazing.
I mean,
in
he is great.
Sting.
Period. But
Color Money's
you haven't seen the
fucking
Sting,
good.
right?
Color
Brian?
of Money
have.
is
Oh, you
Color
have
Sing
Do
the
you- the
Sting.
scene where he's playing cards with Robert Shaw.
Dope.
One of the
I
best scenes
gave it 5
ever.
stars when I first saw it
Great.
forever ago.
I don't know if it
was
still
like,
holds up.
It does hold up.
I
I
believe
watched
it.
it a year ago or two. But it could be my Newman bias, but I fucking love.
No,
Sting.
because I remember watching it and
Hard to
being
not
the
have
whole,
a Newman bias.
well, the whole time.
me
being
in
like,
particular-
this slaps hard. Like I was not expecting this thing to be that. I was like stuffy old movie, and the whole time I was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, it's kind
This
of a fucking
rule?
twisty, turny
Yeah.
crime thing, isn't it?
It's got the Ocean's 11 vibe.
Yes.
but it's fucking
It's a Sting.
1970.
Right.
Heyo. So
Oh, 73?
73.
So,
What did I
Okay.
say?
You said 70.
Okay.
But I thought you meant to say 70s.
I think I did.
Just double checking.
But today's movie is from this decade. Nope, last decade.
Yeah.
the
Oof.
beginning of last decade.
Yeah, the start.
Or the
Of
end
the-
of the other one if you're nasty, I guess.
if you're
If
nasty.
you're nasty.
yeah.
No, it's the start. It's the
Okay.
start of the last.
That's how I feel, but there'd be some people that say, no.
No, the only thing you ever hear is that 2000 isn't a part of the 2000s.
Yeah.
Because there's no year 0.
Yeah, but
Like,
then what isn't
but the-
2010 year zero?
No, it's still 2001 to 2009, and then 2010 to 2019. And then there's just like no 2000.
Ah, okay, yes.
A weird thing
I
that
see.
people done. It's technically right. I don't know. It's
It's
fine.
dumb.
Yeah, it's too hard. It's like, can we just
Numbers are stupid.
can we just make it easy? At 2000 to 2009, can we just say that's right?
Well, if you'd ask Ceci if he could make it easy, he'd say no.
Well, it originally was supposed to be 2009.
Right. This little ditty here, Shutter Island, was supposed to come out. It was supposed to be Oscar movie. Did they
Yeah.
test it or was it not ready?
They didn't have
That's
enough
right.
money.
I
They didn't have
forgot
enough.
about that.
They didn't have enough money to provide the amount of advertising they'd have to do for an Oscar movie.
Oh,
So they decided to release it in February.
Damn.
When they knew it'd be dry season and
I-
And like
everybody
it might be the most interesting movie to come out in February, which
That's-
is generally
What the
like-
other
That's
garbage?
interesting, though,
Silence
because,
of the
like-
Lambs. That's always the go-to one. Came out
Yeah.
in February.
That's
One
crazy.
of the
That's,
best
they,
It
did
did?
it, they did it right.
I didn't.
They
I
did
did
it
not
right.
realize it came out in February.
That's like the and Get Out. Those
Oh,
are the
that's
two
right.
Most
I remember
famous,
seeing
like,
that in February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of just like gold and a shit heap, which they probably thought Shutter Island was gonna be.
Frank, do you remember how like frantically obsessed I was with wanting to see Shutter Island when it was
No.
coming out? I was pretty fucking hyped for
I
it.
believe it.
I remember the trailer just being like,
The trailer was
"Yo,
dope.
what?"
All the Scorsese's trailers are actually no. A lot of them are silly when you
Yeah.
go back and watch.
The
them.
Irishman trailer is garbage."
There's a part of one looks stupid.
Yeah, the part one was stupid, and it had even worse font than the movie does. I think the font's dope, but yeah, Irishman is a pretty bad trailer.
It's cut to try and make it look like an exciting movie,
I know.
which it's not.
It's like at all.
I don't think
But,
I've
like,
even
I mean,
seen
it's
the
exciting
trailer.
to me, man.
It's
I
not
fucking see
great.
him sitting in his wheelchair
It's
and
not
I'm pumping
bad.
my fist. Woo, woo, woo.
I
Just
know,
a-
but
just
you're
a
the
shitty
one who
Netflix
watched that.
trailer then.
Yeah, pretty much. It's. I feel like it even has the like. You
Yeah,
know?
no, it starts with the Robbie Robertson theme, I'm pretty sure. Like the Frank no, actually it's gotten even more like don't or some bullshit.
I think you're right.
It's like, so, Frank Sheeran, tell me about yourself. and it's all the jump cutting.
I
right
clean
now.
houses.
No, he doesn't say I'd paint houses in the trailer, which is stupid.
That is stupid.
I guess they
It's
didn't
like
wanna-
the
I guess they
perfect
didn't want to give it
trailer.
away.
It's the perfect trailer line. Until I wasn't no more, and then I started painting houses. Bah! Fucking what's so
Spoiler the
Yeah.
movie and the trailer.
yes.
Uh,
It's the opening.
Yeah, and plus, isn't that the title of the book? Like I heard you paint houses. Yeah,
And it's also the title of the movie. If
Like,
you're
it-
nasty,
Scorsese says-
sassy.
yeah,
he
but
says it is. He wanted it to be, but Netflix thought it would get less views than something as broad as The Irish.
Oh, but the
Yeah.
3.5 hour runtime.
I'm telling you, the
Right.
future is runtimes don't matter. But even though Little Shutter Island came out in February, I'm just gonna do this now because it still was a mega hit, like a big hit, like Ceci's biggest hit. Some fucking how. I mean, Leo.
Up to this
it
point?
did make a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Well, because nothing else comes out in February.
Right.
And when you hear a Martin Scorsese
With
movie's coming with
Leonardo
Leo,
DiCaprio.
and it's a horror movie,
Yeah.
also starring Mark Ruffalo and Ben Kingsley and Max von Sydow.
And
Well,
plus, it probably helps that it has probably to this day one of the coolest posters of all time.
It's pretty cool
just
poster.
it's
The
just
poster's good.
the poster
It's
has
a great-
always
it's a good
fascinated me.
poster.
Yeah, it's just a very good looking poster.
You know.
the budget was $65 million.
That's relatively
Yeah,
low.
that-
We're 10
yeah.
years now. What's
But
the
yeah.
inflation?
Inflation just 10 years ago was 18.8%.
What's going on?
So 77.2 million.
Still less
Still-
than I would have expected.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely, but it's still a $12 million difference. That's crazy.
But, you know,
Anyway,
I
but
think,
since it was in one location, it kind of makes sense.
well, it's not really one location, man.
yeah,
It's a sprawling location.
studio slash location.
That
maybe?
was
Yeah.
all sets. It had to have been.
No. They did some. They did
Well-
some live shooting.
Well, like at least
Well,
like
I mean, maybe on an
yeah,
island, but
yeah,
like
at least
all
when they
the
arrive and
interiors-
stuff.
so the mega hit that it was made $294.8 million, which today is 350.3. So his biggest boy up until this point, I'm 99% sure.
Especially for a rated R movie, that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah. It has to actually be.
I think the 2010s was one of those decades that launched the R-rated movie making more money than it
Yeah.
ever would have ever.
Yeah,
I mean, Passion of the Christ held the record until Deadpool.
That's wild.
and then
That's
before,
really wild.
actually no, I think Ted broke the record before Deadpool did.
Maybe.
'Cause I remembered hearing stuff about that that Ted broke like the rated R record or something like that.
I'm not fact checking you right now. Somebody else
Yeah.
can fact check it.
Yeah, and tell it and
We're not talking Ted on this podcast.
then call him out on Chronic Canon's
We will
Twitter.
be
I'm not a
talking
part of it, so go ahead.
we will be talking Teddy Dane.
Yes, his biggest hit up until this point, and one movie passes it. And it was only within $3 million against The Departed, like $3 million more. They were very close to each other.
And
I thought it
after
might have
all
been
that-
Aviator that popped up
Mm,
there.
that
I
was,
remembered it made a lot of money.
Yep, Aviator was 4, and Gangs of New York was 5. Gangs almost made $200 million. He had 4 movies that made over $200 million. A lot of moolah.
That is good.
It's a lot of moolah,
And Shutter Island's weirdly one of the top 2.
but it didn't get nominated for any of
No,
Well,
absolutely 0.
none.
That was that's kind of why they put it out in February. I remembered like one of the first like times meeting Frank when like him and Jesse were hanging out. They were talking about like how bullshit it was that it was being pushed back to February.
Yeah, because look at that trailer. We were like, this is gonna be the
it,
best.
it
movie
was
ever.
a dope trailer.
I think I do remember it now being a little like crazed and ready to get the Shutter Island. rammed.
Jesse was way more upset than you were, from what I remember. He was just like, "Come on."
I mean,
Why?
February is a bad sign.
When it was getting pushed back.
Yeah, when it was announced that it was getting pushed back,
I would say
it was like August.
that I was like devastated at the time. I was emotionally confused. I was just like, I don't know what else am I gonna watch. Like that was because I think it
Yeah.
had an October or November release.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it was-
it was
I think
August.
it was
It was
Nov-
supposed to come out in August.
August?
Yeah, I'm
That's
pretty
what it
sure
is.
it's
But
supposed
I
to
might
be
have gotten
August.
pushed. Like I thought it got
Or
pushed a couple
September.
times. It might not have.
I just remember the one.
but I that's all I can.
It
like,
could have been September.
solidly remember.
Yeah.
But I remember once it got pushed, being upset, like knowing that was what usually happens to movies studios aren't confident in. But
Mhm.
then again, it's somebody like Martin Scorsese. So I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like I'm still gonna see it. And I think at the time I loved it, or at least I told myself I loved it. I don't remember ever liking the end.
Yeah.
Really. I definitely liked the end more than I've ever liked it on this watch.
Mhm.
But the reverse happened for the rest of the movie, I think. Because I can actually definitively say I'm not like a fan of this movie anymore, which is like sad because going into this watch with all of this context and Scorsese's like canon up to this point, I was hoping that it would have provided some needed context in making the movie click more and making the obviousness of everything and the inevitability. Because who does the headspace and the inevitability and all that stuff better than anyone else? It's Martin Scorsese. He's the guy for that kind of stuff. So I was like expecting something just like bar none, like a fucking, I don't know, a powerhouse of a movie.
And he's
it
hot
didn't-
off the heels of Aviator and The Departed.
Yeah, it didn't land. And it was actually lower tier on my list. I won't say where yet, but it's lower tier on my list than any of the other Sessies that I would have assumed would have been in the spot it's in. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's a funny way of wording it.
I have a funny way of wording most things.
Oh, October. It was supposed to be released in October.
Good
and
shit.
they
See, that's
pushed it
definitely
back.
why I was excited, because I was like, this is a Halloween movie, baby.
yeah.
And it's
I
not.
can see why that would hurt you. I can
Yeah,
see why that
but-
would hurt you.
And
I don't know. Initial viewing, having, the context that I did have, I will say that, like, I wasn't one of the people who saw the twist ending coming. So that certainly helped with how I perceived the movie. But I think even while I was watching it, I think expecting it to be scarier sort of had me put up this guard so that some of the movie's bits couldn't really get by because I was already guarded, because I was like, this is going to be scary. I don't want to get scared. I don't want to get scared. But it really is much more of like a thriller than it is like a horror movie.
yeah, definitely.
So I don't know, but I will say,
Which I think might actually be the problem in my eyes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the ending is the saving grace for me, where I'm just like, that is like the best way you could wrap something up like this, in my opinion.
All right, if we're just giving a broad overview of our feelings, we're just gonna keep it rolling then.
Sorry that I do that.
No, it's solid. As long as we go back.
Yeah.
Just sometimes when we're talking like this, I'm like, well, then that's what I gotta say. Like, what else is there? Anyway, going in, I knew the one thing I hated was the ending, but I was excited to rewatch it, having that information, and I'd say I'd actually land closer to Brandon, where I really like the ending and I really like the beginning. Just like
Yeah, the
hate-
first like 40 minutes are great.
less than that.
Was it less?
I mean, in my opinion, I think
For
it
you,
started to
maybe.
get rocky even before. Like, before they even get in her cell, I was like, this is already starting to lose me a bit.
Wow. Okay.
But
Do they get in her cell before we meet Von Sydow?
I believe it's after.
Okay. So that would.
It's
So
right after.
because I like that.
I watched the movie
sequence.
I watched it like last night / earlier today. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was that.
Okay. I think so too. And I think the middle loses me so hard that it kind of makes the whole movie flawed. But I like literally love this idea, and I almost wish he would have made it like now. I think after like Irishman, with that like maturity and perspective, I think making something like this would have made it a more powerful, somber movie.
It's almost like
Instead of this weird like starts out as a horror movie, now it's a mystery, and it was always about the mind. It's just like,
the
what is
persona to
this?
Hour of the Wolf jump.
Truth
Yeah.
denial.
Yeah, I mean, that's being generous. To
Yeah,
show
that's
that.
also obnoxious. The fucking title is an anagram for truths, denials, or truth and lies.
Really.
Yeah, or truths and lies. I don't know if it's
That's kind of awesome.
fucking stupid.
Kind of awesome. Like, I didn't know that. Lucas, what was your where's your broad feeling about this movie?
Well, I remembered when I saw it when it first came out, and I definitely hadn't gotten into like that like realm of movies with a real psychological edge that is much more thought provoking. So
Yeah.
that was definitely Shutter Island was definitely an introductory film for me to that. Like,
Mhm.
while I do give it its credit, for like wanting me to expand more in that genre.
You gotta love it. You gotta appreciate
But-
any movie that does that.
But it also has now shown me how clear as day they're much, much better than Shutter Island. And even watching it today, I still really enjoy the film. I definitely don't think it's anywhere near Scorsese's best.
Mhm.
And I haven't really seen any of Scorsese's films that I've considered bad. Because to this
Well,
day,
lucky you.
yeah. And I don't know if I want to go down that
Yeah,
realm.
I wouldn't. Any that we're not clear cut, all 3 thumbs up, you could probably
I
avoid.
mean, less than half are in the canon.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I remembered being mind blown from the ending. And then later on in that year, I read the book.
Mhm.
And the book definitely goes a lot more in depth into the entire story. And I think that related in a lot of what you said earlier on if Scorsese did this now, would it have been much better? And I think it would have been 100% because especially because I feel like the movie is rushed, especially compared to reading the book because in the book you're able to go down many more different realms, and there were a lot of little things
Like
in the
what?
book that you couldn't really. I'll go more into that a little bit later.
Okay.
But there's a lot of little peaks in the book that could have just like helped characteristics, especially to Mark Ruffalo, because
He feels pretty wooden throughout.
in the book he is so charismatic. He cracks a lot of jokes. He gets along with a lot of
Cracks
like
a lot of jokes in this too.
but like they're flat as
Yeah.
hell because it's Mark fucking Ruffalo.
Hey,
but,
whoa,
You are
whoa.
talking about the
I
Hulk.
mean, okay, but at the same time, he's not that great in this.
You're
movie.
talking about Dave Thompson.
He's fine.
Hey, I'm talking about 2010 Mark Ruffalo. Like,
Yeah, but after Zodiac,
What do you mean? He's good in Kids Are All Right. He's good in it.
he's
Is he?
all right.
You don't like the movie, right?
No pun
it's a
intended.
bad
So that's
movie.
why you feel that way.
Why
but
is it
it's-
a bad movie? I like
It's just that, especially
Bad
compared
movie.
to the character. Like, no hate on Mark Ruffalo because I love Mark Ruffalo in many movies, but
Yeah, he's their
it's
best
Just
friend.
here.
He's here.
oh shit, but
Welcome, Mark. Yeah, how you doing? That's the best I got.
Yeah, it does.
yeah, but especially compared to how his character is in the book, it comes off very very flat.
Okay.
Because and also the relationship between him and Teddy is a lot more expanded in the book. It gives them a lot more opportunities to have more serious conversations. And I think what Scorsese was trying to do was he didn't want to give too many characteristics away or have too many side plots because it might make the audience feel disappointed when it goes down to the final twist. When like
Keep it
'cause-
streamlined.
yeah,
and
because it'll
focused.
make you feel like none of it really matters. But I don't think it did. Like I think it added a lot more. It made me care more. And also, I think with a lot of the more, especially when it gets to the second half of the movie, when it's a lot more of the slow sequences of him just going around the island and you don't
Mhm,
really know what's real and what's not, it drags the whole movie down because
I agree.
it goes down because in the book you go down a lot of different rabbit holes in his mind instead of just parts of the island that look a little bit different and some people behaving oddly and Leo screaming.
Yeah,
That's
like that-
that's just the basis of the entire
You're not
second
wrong.
half of
That
the movie.
sequence of is it the mausoleum that they like hide in while
in
at
the
the
rain?
rainstorm? It's just like that was an excuse to get you into a
Yeah,
mausoleum.
but in the book they're in there for much longer and they talk about like their war memories and shit and like
like,
probably
yeah.
feels
Yeah,
natural.
it
like they're
feels so
trapped.
much more natural and
In the
so
movie,
and then
that's like such
and
a rush
and it
scene.
builds up to Mark Ruffalo like finally saying like they could be here to like set you up, like they could be here to trap you. In the movie it
It's
felt
just that conversation.
it felt very over the top and and since there wasn't as much passion there, it just comes off as more just bleh.
I think this whole movie is a little too over the top for me.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
honestly,
Lucas, you
Scorsese's
mentioned
trying to fuck too hard. I'm like, calm down.
you mentioned that this is what Scorsese was trying to do with the movie, and like true, but like I know Scorsese didn't write the movie. Who is the screenwriter?
It was her name starts
One
with
of
an
the,
L. It was a
one of the
harder name to
screenwriters
pronounce.
is the author of the book, is it not?
No.
He did not write
On
the
Letterboxd,
screenplay.
they just credit the author of the book always.
I
as its
will
own. It's Laeta Kalogridis.
Does she have any other notable credits?
Alita, Battle Angel, Terminator,
Shit.
Genesis,
I will say, though-
Alexander,
oh, sorry.
and something called Night Watch.
Wow.
Oh,
Well,
and Pathfinder.
I don't know how many of those movies are adaptations of novels, but
well
I'm not sure.
in a dialogue standpoint, it goes pretty like on point with the book. Like
I believe that. But I
yeah.
mean, like, I just have to assume, given the way that you've described the book to me, that it feels like it chopped a lot out in favor of streamlining everything to Teddy, as opposed to
I think-
devolving into other characters.
I think
and
it focused-
exploring them,
yeah, I think it focused way too much on
which is
Teddy.
almost inconsistent with Scorsese.
What do you mean?
Like, he's always bringing other characters into the fray, at least, like, in some sense. Like, even Aviator, another movie that I'd feel like is pretty confined to one guy, does feel like it had the other characters in it that are closest to him feel tangible. I feel like I get them on some level, whereas, like, in this, I feel... But this is probably part of the point of Shutter Island, is to feel alienated from everybody in the fucking
Oh, that's a
island
good
because
point, actually.
Teddy's
Yeah.
crazy. But, you know, it would feel different and better if it were, you know, I don't know, a bit more surreal in a sense that I didn't like. There wasn't a separation between a movie and the experience for me. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I was watching a movie the whole time, and that was bothersome. Whereas like something like The Shining which is another movie that I feel like this movie is kind of pulling from a lot. That movie even has less character almost and like less emotion, but for some reason I'm way more creeped out by and unsettled by something like that than anything in Shutter Island.
Well, The Shining's just trying to be a horror movie. It's just trying to make you feel uncomfortable.
That's true.
Like that was Kubrick's
that is its
whole
impetus, yes.
intention.
But it seemed like Shutter Island was trying to do that as well. When in the book, it can be a little creepy, but it never really goes down a horror realm.
See,
in my opinion,
I think he lays on the horror real thick in the beginning, but then abandons it rather quickly because it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be a horror movie.
But I don't know if that's
Scorsese
but
never cared about it being a horror movie.
But like, I think that could have just been at fault for the marketing team or
that's true.
whoever.
Well, no, because the
The
opening music,
feels like a 50s serial horror movie.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like something like I was loving it. Like at the
Yeah.
start, I was like, "This is
Well,
like made for me. This is Ceci
that-
doing the kind of B horror movie from the 50s that I love."
But I
This
think
is
I
great.
think it was mainly just the location of it that's what made it feel like it. And while you could still have that throughout the entire story, but not really have it be horror. But you can still feel like freaked out and like have like you going onto the edge of your seat, or you feel like your stomach is sinking. But I never really got that during the movie.
I think it's true to Scorsese.
At least not after the first hour. Sorry.
I think true to Scorsese, he's trying to just focus on the character, and it feels like obligated to try to make it a horror movie because that's probably how they sold the movie to get made, whatever. But I think to what you were saying before, Jesse, about that like disconnect of Scorsese and characters and how usually he excels with like a wide net of people, especially
not even wide necessarily, but you know, at
more
least
characters,
more than one.
having foils and stuff, which like
Yeah.
there are technically here, but I think Shutter Island actually is his most, or at least his second most plotty movie. Like I think The
agree.
Departed and Shutter Island are his two real plotty movies, but the difference is The Departed, everybody's propelling the plot, and Shutter Island only Teddy is.
Right.
So then he's caught up with trying to make this character study, but still has a very plot heavy movie, and therefore can't spend time with other people, but really wants you to feel Teddy in his world. It's a movie in conflict.
Yeah.
I think to that testament, like Lucas said, Duke said, we've said both now. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna
No,
go.
I'm
with Duke.
saying like it doesn't matter.
Okay. Duke said maybe if it was like a 3-hour movie, it could have been better, take more time, delve into more things. But I also think there's an argument for the 90-minute movie where you
am
just
with you, man.
you just sprint toward you literally then cut everything and just make it a pulpy B horror movie.
and you make it
I
more
th-
manic because then that
Yeah.
adds to the craziness.
I think if you like it almost in theory could give me a movie we'll talk about, Kiss Me Deadly vibes.
Oh, fuck,
Like
yes.
it could have been that, and I think that's the 90-minute version.
Yeah.
Or it could be a 3-hour version that's something more like I said, weirdly Exotica or The Game, where it is this like creating a world to try to cope with something.
Yeah, right.
Which is like
Also making a movie.
right, which is all this is.
Right.
Very directly. It's a movie about making movies. But I think that could be fleshed out totally. And I'd be curious to see that, but like if it's still the movie, it'd have to be a totally different movie.
Yeah.
I think you could take this
Mhm.
footage and cut an interesting 90-minute movie. I don't think you could expand what already is. You'd have to make a whole new thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem of the Shutter Island.
But I also just think the movie's kind of clunky. Like it almost feels like Scorsese wasn't in a rhythm while he was making it, you know,
does
or
feel
he
a
was
little
in a
clunky.
series of separate rhythms.
Mm.
Like he wasn't on the same. Like most of his movies have a very consistent pace and tone that just keeps me locked in. Like, well, obviously the best ones, but there's not a whole lot, especially recently, that have messed with me too much on the negative end. Like Bringing Out the Dead being the most glaring one recently, and like I
Mhm.
don't care about Gangs of New York and stuff, but like I'm shocked to say that I like that better than this.
Me too.
Like by a small margin, but I do like it better than this. And I think that it has way more importance to like Scorsese's career and all those things, which is disappointing because like I said, as a horror movie geek like I am, Shutter Island in theory should be my favorite Scorsese, but it falls totally near the bottom, and I think it might even be added on to my own disappointment in the fact that it should be the best thing ever, but it's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
I love it in theory. Brandon, you've been quiet. You've been
Yeah,
letting
I
us.
was
You've been
about to
letting
say,
us
I
hash
noticed
it out.
this.
Me too.
No, but you're good. I mean, you think it's good. That's what I meant to say. You are on the side that this is a good movie, and I wanted you to, now that we've eradicated it, build it back up, because people are starting to love this
Listen,
movie.
No,
I
this
think
has had
that
a
the
resurgence.
having marijuana in my utility belt has helped me. I wanted to do when I talked about this movie, I was gonna go the Shutter Island because it was really funny in my head. As soon as I saw Shutter
Turn
Island,
it off. I don't want
I
to
was
hear
like-
that.
I was like Shutter Island, and then
Every
and
fucking
then
time.
I also thought about inviting our special guest Mike Tyson so he could go, "Hey everybody, we're gonna watch Shutter Island." All right, enough of that.
I'm sorry if you have a lisp.
I love shout out to all the fans with the list. We love you here, Crown Canon. But the movie,
I quit.
something that helps with the movie is that I didn't see the twist coming. And like I think the part where it fell short for me was I became uninterested in this twisting tale because they started adding, these different sort of like psychological things like, oh, is he going crazy because he's stuck in the mental institution? And I think, I'm always on guard when it's like, I hope we're not depicting mental illness poorly here. But it's like that doesn't really happen. It's just like everything's all wacky and kooky. And I was like, I don't know, this is sort of just like downplayed. I think I'm kind of over the whole like mental institution being, because like to me, my favorite instance of mental institutions is Asylum, and that's the TV series.
Are
So
you talking about American,
American
Horror Story?
yeah,
Yeah.
like
And it is the best season.
The way
I
they
agree.
handle that is phenomenal. So I wasn't too like hip with the like or keen or just like I wasn't loving the whole mental institution vibe. But I think maybe that disconnect is sort of what let the movie skirt on by with the sneaky little things that it was adding in there to sort of build up to the fact that Teddy was who he isn't who he says he is. But the way that they sort of tie it
Who
all
he thinks he is.
thinks he is. The way that they sort of tie it all up, like I don't know, I really like the way that they handle it, and one of the last line,
Very powerful.
Leo says in the movie was so powerful, and then it literally shot me all the way back to King of Comedy because him and Republican sort of like are echoing each other in a sense.
They are.
That was like the best epiphany I've ever heard when you said that. I was like, holy fuck, that's crazy. He had to have known, Ceci, that had a mirrored,
Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
Which would
Yeah.
be worse, to live as
There's
a
no way he
monster
didn't.
or die as a good man? And then
And,
what's better, to live as the
no.
king for a day or schmuck for a lifetime?
lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Well,
When
The
Whooper
same-
Pumpkin says that, I literally get the whole thing, like the whole movie.
Yeah.
Literally understand the whole
Same
thing.
with
Scary
this.
though, scary.
Both scary.
Both scary.
Both scary,
Terrifying.
both sad. Is that in the book, Duke? God damn it.
Is that a line from the book?
you can say whatever. It is okay.
I know.
Luke, dude, just don't say his social security number, dude, and then you're good.
249.
No,
Oh, sorry. Don't. Right.
That's
Hey man, it's not,
Not
4
even-
digits. It's 3.
I said 324. I said 249.
What? 420?
Where's a weed?
Light it up.
no, but what was cool is with that is like one of the best parts of the ending. That line, like,
Mhm.
So it
like
is in the book.
it's not in the book, which is what I was gonna say. Is
No.
like one of the few things that the
Mm.
movie got right that the book didn't do. Because while it could be like what some people could think that this is my opinion, like from what I've been saying right now, the book is not perfect at all. Like it's definitely
Okay.
got some issues with it. Like, but with the movie, like it's definitely better than the movie.
Okay.
But like if I would like give the book like a grade out of 10, I would say probably like an 8 or an 8.5. Like it's still like got
Pretty
some.
good.
goddamn
high.
good.
Yeah.
Tune in next week for the library kind of canon. We
No.
No,
read
but
books now.
yeah, but like the last thing he
The
talks
Blahnik
about, like
canon.
it's in the exact same pace as the ending of the movie. Like he's talking to Mark Ruffalo,
Mm-hmm.
and he's still like believing that he's Teddy Daniels, and so he turns over to Ben Kingsley, and then he just shakes his head over to him like, yeah, he's still
Mm-hmm.
in this mindset, and then but then he kind of turns around like, oh, does he actually know what he's about to do, and just thinks that him going to the lighthouse is what's best for him. But
That's how it
But-
definitely plays in the movie.
yeah, but in the book, they just have a regular talk. You just like it's in the book from the quotations. Teddy just says Teddy said, "I don't know, Chuck. You think they're onto us? Nah, we're too smart for that. Yeah, we are, aren't we?" And that's it.
Yeah, that's the same as the movie, though.
But then this adds one
Yeah,
more.
but
I don't know.
yeah,
I think that
but,
that
but
is
the line adds so much more
It
into
does.
the ending than because in the book it's just like, oh, okay, so he just still thinks he's Teddy and he's got to get his brain all fucked up. That's what it just kind of seems like it is in the book, but in the movie it adds a lot more depth into it, which I really do appreciate. Which is such like an odd thing for me to say because there's a lot of parts in the book that I just think weren't as like expanded through or talked about well enough in the film. So it's such like a weird praise to give because especially like the ending they nail on all fronts, especially the lake house scene.
So
They might
good.
even make it better than it is in the book just because of how well Leo acts that scene. Because
we laughed.
I disagree. I
Yeah,
was
unfortunately,
kinda
I
laughing
did
through
laugh
that
the whole
scene.
time.
But it
Uh,
got
It
me.
might have been because I started it. It's always a person starts laughing and then
Yeah.
everybody thinks.
Nah,
it's funny.
man, it's not. It's
'Cause
not
when
even
Lucas
that
was
because
affected by it and he was alone.
when
but
when
I
they
was
were
gonna do
Yeah.
that like in my head, you
I
know.
I was trying to
was,
hold
like,
it in.
I mean,
No.
I still, I mean, I was still thinking of laughing, but it's just like, yeah, like, how would you react if you had to
I
shoot
mean-
your fucking wife? So like,
the whole
I
thing.
don't think he had to shoot his wife.
No, I mean,
she
No,
literally
no,
begged him to
no,
release
you
her.
made me
no,
do
here,
that.
then here, shooting your wife after she drowns all three of your fucking
Well, hey,
children.
no. I did point that out while we were watching it. I was like, I'm not a parent. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I do know from having talked to real parents that people who have children, they say that anything that happens to their kids, any harm that is brought on to them, if it is by a human, they will tear them apart.
yes,
They'll fucking destroy them.
yes. I mean, just when he was literally holding.
Yes, I know.
No, it was when he was holding them in the water, and then the camera was overhead, and he like
That's when I
he,
lost it.
he like wailed into the sky. It's like, come on, that is hilarious.
It was the aerial
That
shot.
is something
the
that
aerial
if someone
shot.
walked
Yeah.
up to me in middle school and said, "Picture this." Leonardo DiCaprio holding his 3 dead children in the middle of a lake screaming at the sky. I would be kneeling on the ground. I would be, my kidneys, they would be bursting.
And a good movie would have made us cry.
Hey,
You-
shut
you,
up.
That's
you
my
said
whole
that while we were
argument. But
watching
then-
it.
If I
Literally-
was invested and it was well done and it was emotionally resonant, I would be
Yeah.
in shambles at that.
Immediately
I was
after,
laughing.
though, for me, I know not for you guys,
Immediately
but for me though, when he had them laid on the ground, and it was just it was them on the ground, and then it was him and the wife like together on the ground, like that. I started to feel a little bit more emotionally connected to, because Leo, at the end of the day, he's a fucking phenomenal actor, and he looked
Mhm.
like his fucking soul was getting ripped out of his body.
Weak,
Like,
it
looked very good.
Weak take probably, but I think this is one of his weaker performances.
No,
I think
I agree.
overarching, yeah,
I-
overarching.
I think it's
Not in
definitely
that year,
bottom
though.
tier.
like you know, like
I
just
do
an
think it's
Inception.
better.
Oh,
I do think it's
I don't
better than
know,
Amsterdam.
Teddy Daniels, the Boston Marshal, is just like, I don't know. It felt like Leo didn't have to try that hard until the ending,
Yeah,
until you get the whole time. Like maybe that's sort of why where the movie falls short, but where it also sort of succeeded because I didn't latch on to it, was that they don't really play Teddy as someone who's crazy that much. Like up until the end where you start getting mixed
Nah, man,
imagery.
because there's
They do
stuff
too
all
much
the
in
way
the
through
movie.
it. There's hints all over the place. The very beginning of the movie is him looking insane.
it's the worst.
Tell me the truth.
It's ridiculous with his crazy eyes. Like,
I think I just realized my problem with this movie.
what?
It's Leonardo fucking DiCaprio. I think he's a horrible miscast, and now I'm realizing it. I'm like, I think if it was somebody else, this movie might have worked on me.
I think Scorsese's a wrong pick for director too.
I have to agree, but I didn't want to really bring that up because Martin Scorsese is one of my all-time favorite directors, and I don't want like my one
too.
appearance on a
Yeah.
Scorsese.
Dude,
yeah, but
I-
my one appearance on a
okay,
Scorsese
okay, that's
podcast, having me talk about one of his films that I definitely think is one of his weakest.
Hey, man, you like it. You don't hate it.
Yeah, that is true. None of the Scorsese films that I've watched I've hated, but I definitely think Shutter Island. It's no fucking Irishman. It's no like yeah.
The next time Duke pisses you off, strap him down to a bed and force him to watch Boxcar Bertha.
Why?
Because it's the worst movie that by Martin Scorsese.
I mean, it's
and
true.
he would just be like, no, no.
Then
no.
I'll watch Cape Fear and disagree. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I
Cape
like
Fear
Cape
rules.
Fear fine.
Gifford's dope.
The original's better. Though. That's probably just
original
like
is-
that,
The original
we
is
did
so much
determine
better.
on the canon.
I
it is
think that's
better.
like my weird thing with like judgment of Scorsese films. Like the two of his films I like the least. It's mainly because like, oh, the original Cape Fear is better, and then with Shutter Island, oh, I like the book more.
That's fair. I think, honestly, sitting here, I was trying to think of a person real fast. I think Ruffalo would have been better.
You're
as
right.
Teddy.
I
I think
agree.
he has emotional
he-
vulnerability.
He was
easier.
miscast
Oh,
with
dude.
he was miscast with his role, I believe, because I think if they had
Get
someone
Matt Damon as the
Well, you know, I was like,
no,
federal U.S. Marshal.
hit the blunt. I was like,
Yeah,
I was like, interesting that there are 3 people from Zodiac in this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Mark Ruffalo's kind of playing that detective guy, you know. It's Dave Toschi has way more humanity and way more like character than his character in this does. But we also have what's his name? 3 names.
John Carroll.
Arthur
Lynch.
Lee
John
Allen?
Carroll Lynch, and then we also have Elias Koteas, who then you brought up Exotica, and I was like, another link.
And also
John could have been a good pick for Ruffalo's character.
who?
Who?
John Carroll Lynch was that his name? I can't remember his name.
Interesting.
Interesting to see John Carroll Lynch in a role that big.
Yeah, maybe that's
give him a
why.
fucking opportunity. He's great.
I mean, I'm not knocking it.
I
We're
don't
rooting
know.
for you, Johnny.
But
I only see him as Arthur Lee Allen anytime I see him.
well, I just watched Fargo, and he's awesome.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah,
as
let him bring
the
out-
Oh,
other
that's
husband.
right. He's in that.
Yeah,
That's
but
one of his earlier
so
ones.
it's like, yeah, let him bring out like a more charisma, funny side to him because like he's not like because he doesn't have to be cracking jokes the whole time. That's not what
He's
Ruffalo's
charismatic in
char-
other movies too. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's hard for me to see anybody but Arthur Lee.
That's fair.
I definitely think like a more comedic actor should have played that role because Mark Ruffalo can be funny because in Thor Ragnarok I laughed my ass off with Mark Ruffalo. He's so good in that. But
Agreed.
I just don't think
I just
that-
think they were going for the 50s thing. Like Mark Ruffalo has the same like kind of like he
Yeah,
doesn't talk
but
like that. but he
John Hamm should have been the Ruffalo, and Ruffalo should have been the.
Because
lead.
John Hamm could do
Ooh,
good,
that would have
like,
been
scary.
perfect.
That's it. Crack
Oh,
the
yeah.
code.
yeah, that would have been awesome.
Get the boys together.
Yeah,
And
but
Fincher, did you know he was supposed to direct?
that makes
That-
so much
that's
sense.
that is a thing. We
Do you
said
think
it
that
during
Fincher
the
started
movie.
casting already?
Probably.
Then that was
Oh
why
no
they
no
just
no no
kept
no no
people.
no 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 no! He was just considered. He was
Okay.
offered.
We
Whatever.
did say we thought Fincher would have done this better.
He would have.
he would
And I
have.
do want to
There's
bring
still
up
somebody else.
well that could have done this better.
Ari Aster. I'd want to see Ari Aster Shutter Island.
Excuse me?
I want to see Ari Aster Shutter
I'd
Island.
be
Oh my
curious.
God.
I'd be
That's what I want to see.
curious
It'd be
enough.
way scarier, and I bet you the ending would be more emotional.
I bet you. You know,
I think-
I was
I-
just told the joke
I
today. You
think
want to hear it?
it would be good.
No.
Why not?
Okay.
How many hipsters does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. It's too obscure. You know, you wouldn't get it.
I'll see myself out.
It's
Officially quit.
It's weird in the book. There's so many like how many like blank jokes does it take to screw in a light bulb? Like in one chapter, there's like
In
50
Shutter
different-
Island?
Yeah, in the book, there's just,
Weird.
like so many. Yeah, like
What?
Ben Kingsley's character does one. Like he does like a doctor joke, and then like none of them react, and it's pretty funny. But
Okay. That's
And
actually kind of
I,
odd.
I did want to bring this up because we were starting to talk more about the lake house scene because this was something that I thought was weird in the book. Like I kind of think I'm kind of glad that the movie didn't make this decision because the name of his 2 sons are Edward and Daniel,
Oh,
like
so his
Edward
Ted-
Daniels, but
Teddy
I'm like,
Daniels.
oh
Ted is and Edward are interchangeable for some reason.
yeah, well yeah, I mean yeah, because I thought like Teddy's more for like a name like Theodore, but
It's
like,
people say it for Edward.
yeah.
I learned that one. Yes, people call Edwards Ted. I'm like, how does that
Is it
literally
the-
fucking make
It's
sense?
like the Richard and Bob. It's-
Richard and Dick?
Richard and Dick, too.
Just like
Rick, Dick.
What?
Rick,
No,
Literally,
yeah. No,
what?
Robert and Bob. It's like, what? Why?
Robbie and Bobby.
Yeah.
Because it rhymes.
Okay.
Rick and Dick.
I love the fact that Marty calls Robert De
Ed
Niro
and
Bob.
Ted. Yeah, Bob De Niro.
It's only Bob. He never calls him anything else.
Bob and me. Bob and me.
And
were
maybe he
making a
calls him
movie.
Bobby sometimes.
Do we think De Niro would have been able to play this? What era De Niro would be able to do Teddy Daniels, if any? I don't think any would.
and
actually.
he would have been able to do it well because
What?
Teddy
Oh,
Daniels.
dude, Taxi Driver, Teddy. Oh, no, Teddy Daniels.
Pacino
I
would have been a
think that
better
he.
pick.
might-
I think De Niro might have been able to do Ruffalo. I think he could have
Yeah.
done that.
He definitely could have done Ruffalo.
I think-
But I
70s,
also think
70s, 80s.
I
De Niro,
also think I'd be
absolutely.
curious to see 80s or 90s De Niro do
Mm.
Kingsley.
Ah,
Like, think about Angel Heart real quick.
Yeah. Great fucking
I don't think De
movie.
Niro could be
Great movie.
the
Great
Marshall
De Niro performance.
because the more unhinged he starts to act is where he starts to lose me in his performances. Sometimes.
What? Cape Fear.
It
Wait a minute.
ends at the perfect
Angel
time.
Heart
It literally
is
ends at the perfect
Shutter
time.
Island.
No, because that's all happening. Angel Heart's literal.
I know, but
He
it's
goes
like
to hell at the end.
I know, but it's still like we'll talk about it.
I don't remember it enough, maybe.
because I forgot that that's a twist movie.
Is it?
Yeah, God, what?
Maybe I'm not remembering well. Oh no, I just thought it like Shutter Island. I was like, he's obviously the devil.
No,
Am
that's
oh.
not the twist.
I don't remember the movie then.
Okay, well, we'll just talk about it, dude. Mickey Rourke's the guy he's looking for the whole time.
Hey,
That's right.
It's fucking wild.
Great movie.
Louis Cypher, Lucifer, you fuck,
Great movie.
motherfucking cocksucker.
Let's watch Angel Heart.
stop! You guys just spoiled that whole thing.
Dude, you
You're
wanna hear some?
never gonna watch. If I
Well,
will
I
get-
wanted to. I
Wanna hear
wanted
some
to
crazy
after
shit?
you said that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's hey, real quick.
Doesn't
It's,
even matter if you wanted to watch a movie. You guys made it sound cool.
hey, guess what? You're gonna forget about it in like 2 weeks, and then you'll watch it and be like, "Whoa, that was crazy."
They're the same person. Just trying to think
Sure.
of, like, what's a twist?
Fight Club. One time, I watched Angel Heart super late at night. Fucking DVD case came flying off my shelf on its own.
Dope.
That is the one, like, well, maybe there's been a couple, but like the one most recent paranormal thing I've ever experienced.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Actually,
That was pretty cool.
Just came
Pretty
flying at
fucking
you.
scary. That, and of all movies, a movie about a goddamn devil.
That is
Um,
really weird.
Shutter Island's missing the devil. Maybe if the devil was in the movie, I'd be more on board. More wackadoodle. Is that the phrase? Wackadoodle? That's the thing. Do we actually I was sitting here during somebody's talking. Somebody was talking and I was sitting here. As one does on a podcast.
So far, so good. Keep it going.
Great.
Woo! Okay. So I was sitting here thinking, and I was like, I feel like talking about this movie. I could talk about a perfect movie. Like a perfect movie literally exists in the fabric of this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I see what people are seeing, but then I just think about literally watching it and how like not engaging the whole thing was.
That's the
And
biggest
now
problem.
I'm thinking about it. I don't think Ceci does his normal Ceci magic. I don't think
No.
he actually gets us in his headspace. I think it's too concerned about trying to sell the mystery than it is about trying to capture Teddy's state of mind.
But that's his headspace.
Damn it!
But that's
That's what I'm
But
saying.
what
Listen to
Frank,
me. This is my whole argument.
perfect movie?
This
we
is my
could
whole
talk
argument. I've been trying to talk about this. This is the reason Ceci
Motherfucker.
was wrong for this movie.
Man, you guys better put some
Ceci's-
respect on man's name. It just sounds like Ceci was wrong.
No,
Ceci-
no.
This is why I was
Ceci
scared with
wasn't
this
wrong. Ceci, in
topic.
fact, just did what he does. This is just, it's not right for this movie. It's not right for this material. Teddy Daniels' headspace is the headspace of this movie. It
You're
is
right.
the mystery.
Every time.
It is he's trying to keep himself wrapped up and engaged in the mystery. And if anything, you spotting the cracks is more in line with his headspace than anything else because that's what he's doing. He's spotting the cracks. So
I've never hated Martin Scorsese until this moment. But he did it. Is Shutter Island perfect?
And well, listen, and I said from the opening to you, I tried to whisper it to you because you and I were texting, Frank, like because Brandon
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on, so we were texting.
Well, I literally can't say anything. It was about us noticing things.
From the fucking jump of the movie, he's like,
Yeah.
and it's like,
and he's in
okay,
the middle of a
fucking-
boat.
Yeah,
Just out of nowhere. And
yeah.
he's just
It's like, what? There's
"Here
no
I am."
context. There's no anything. Same as the Light fucking House. Stupid as fucking movie.
It is.
God,
What's
the movie's
wrong?
even worse after I watched Shutter Island. I'm like, at least Ceci is like good at making movies.
Well, the witch rules.
No, the Witch Rules and the Lighthouse is technically very well made.
Just a dumb script. Anyway,
Yes.
so what were you trying to say?
All I was trying to say was he did what he always does, and he did it pretty fucking well because we all feel like we follow the movie the way that I think Ceci intended us to follow the movie. I just don't like it because I don't think the movie is about the headspace necessarily. I think I don't know. It's tough for me to know exactly what I would have wanted this movie to be. Is it weird to say David Lynch should have made it?
No,
Mhm.
I agree with you.
Because I
actually.
think that's the cliche thing to say.
Yeah,
But I think-
there's somebody else, but that's more in line.
yeah.
That's a step in the right direction.
Right.
We were mentioning Fincher too. Like even Fincher would have.
I even
definitely
think
was
De Palma could have done this well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Dude, come on.
No,
Give me a
it
break.
would be too
Yeah, the Day of Age where he's
silly.
making Black
in
Dahlia too.
a way, Blowout is kind of his
Yeah,
his
Yeah.
and
shut
that's
around. A movie about
Blowout.
making movies.
Yeah, but I will say though, but with Teddy's headspace, like in the movie, I think it's a lot different in the film than it is in the book. I just think mainly because in the book, it goes more into the mystery a bit more. Like, you remember that piece of paper that they find in Rachel's room when they're looking for her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes a lot further down that path in the book, like when he's looking out when he's looking further out in the mountains near
But
the
that
caves.
makes sense. All
There-
the
yeah.
books that movies are based on, for the most
Yeah,
part,
but
like
yeah.
90%, are going to cut a lot.
But it's certain things that they could have easily just put in for 10 seconds. And that's why it kind of confused me a bit, because you know how they were going really hardcore with number 13 because it would add something to being the 67th patient at the island.
Oh yeah,
They
they
do
keep
go
freaking out about that. The 67th patient, who is it?
they do go more into
It's you.
they're more
Classic.
it's more like in an actual like story based pace in the book, I think, because in the book it goes through like it has different chapters like in certain days. Like day 1 it's called Rachel, then day 2 I think it's called Latest, and then 3 it's the 67th patient. I can't remember the
If
last one.
Ceci would have put like act title cards in this, then it just
That-
is
but
The
that-
Shining.
That's why I was thinking that this should have been like, if they wanted to make this story, it probably should have been like a more like series length based, because if they actually wanted to get what a lot of the real true meaning into Teddy's mind space was, it was also kind of just him figuring out the mystery, and he was also just getting clues from other people and the interactions that he had with characters like George Noyce. And yeah,
Was that Jackie Earle Haley?
yeah, it was
Okay.
Jackie Earle Haley. They describe it a lot more in the book. The conversation between the two is almost like on par with the book, like when it comes to the dialogue, but you just hear a lot more of his warpath stories with him and kind of like why he was going into that realm of his. It kind of went further into his dark path, and it made you understand it more than it did in the film.
I got it.
Scared the fuck out of me.
I got it.
I think I got it too. Go.
Fincher.
No,
It's Fincher.
it's not.
You don't have the proof.
Well,
It's Mindhunter.
I was about
Mindhunter
I was
is the
going to
proof
say that.
That
Damn you.
Fincher is the guy
Okay.
who should have made this. It's so wild when I think about like Holden as a character, and I'm like, that's how Teddy needed to be portrayed.
But like, I do think
Holden's a way more toned down version of the craziness that Teddy
I
exists.
don't know. I fit in my head, since I don't know how it ends. The Mindhunter's just building that fucking Holden's a serial killer.
Well, I'm not going to tell you where
I
it
know he's
goes.
not. He's based off a real person.
And everybody comes to that conclusion, but that seems like it's on purpose. Like, it's very similar to Manhunter.
Okay, indisputable. Yes, Fincher should have. But there's two people I think would have made a more interesting version.
What's that?
I think Fincher's is a little. It's like too easy almost. That's where my brain is like, yeah, of course, but he's easy. He's the answer, right? I already said Astor, but that's a stretch. I think Luca Guadagnino.
Thank you.
Think about Suspiria.
No, I know. That would have been really interesting.
He would
Because
be-
I
Because
did
so
not.
humanistic and yet horrifying.
Did we mention that as a
Mhm.
twist?
No.
Because it is.
Yeah.
But then also, my baby, Paul Thomas Anderson. I want to see PTA Shutter Island.
That would have been interesting. I mean, I've
I
always
think
said
it'd
I'd be
be
curious to
fun.
see PTA make a horror
I
movie.
think
Because it
I
wouldn't
think
be a
Luca's
horror
a way
movie.
better pick.
I do too. But
that,
I think
though.
Paul's would be the most interesting where it's like, how would he approach that? I literally want to see that.
Who would play Teddy and Lucas? Is it fucking
Armie
No, Army
Hammer.
Hammer plays fucking Ruffalo.
I thought
Mhm.
that earlier.
But
even.
then is that too easy?
that's why it's perfect.
Because that's what I feel like, if anything, makes the most sense than any other actor.
Then who plays Leo in Luca's version? Nobody he's worked with. It'd be somebody new.
Yeah, I'm
Probably,
trying
yeah.
to think really
Oscar
hard.
Isaac?
No.
No.
Would not
wrong. No, I was about to say Driver. That's wrong too. I can't find it. I don't know who makes that now. Who plays the Leo role? It's not Leo again.
In my head,
He's too old now.
anytime anyone's like, who should play so and so and now, or who should play anything, Adam Driver's the first name that hits my head every time.
Yeah, but he wouldn't.
I
fit
know.
here.
No,
nothing.
He would not work.
He wouldn't have worked. He'd work as latest.
Gosling.
I was thinking Gosling for a
Gosling
second,
might
but then
take
like
it too far.
Yeah,
Think about
Gosling, I
Blade
was
Runner
thinking 1 second, no.
2049.
Gosling would have gone over the top.
Oh, think about the goddamn scene at the end.
Unless he played it straight,
Oh,
not crying.
and Michelle Williams, a
Hey.
reunion. Same
Michelle
year.
Williams was perfect. Like, I'll admit
She
that.
gives a great performance for the material she's given, because
Yeah.
that's another
Especially
thing that I
in
hate
that-
about this is the dialogue being that much more on the nose.
half and
than-
half.
Yeah.
Some of it's
The opening-
literally
look,
beautiful.
Daddy, I found the bottle. What are you doing?
That stuff I liked hammed up though, because it is just his memory.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
and
his
his
fabricated
dreams.
memory.
That
Yeah.
works.
That for me always
Gorgeous
worked.
scenes.
Those scenes are perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah,
Richardson's
but that-
cinematography is great.
But
in
that's
this.
but that is also why I'm
Very
thinking
good.
like Scorsese. He clearly had something because I'm one of those people who still think that I'm still thoroughly entertained throughout the film, but I think that if he really did get a longer pace, I think it's just more of the fact that I've seen The Irishman and just see how he can handle such a long runtime.
It did kind of break all his movies. A bit.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know.
If it was 3.5 hours,
Yeah.
might be The Irishman.
Well, you had said, Frank, that it should have been a miniseries. And I was like, man, if
I
Shutter
definitely
Island never
agree.
got made, like up to this point, that's all it would be now.
It should
You
have
would
been
have
a
never
miniseries.
had that as a movie.
You know what?
And fucking Mike Flanagan would have been the fucking director.
Oh,
Stupid. Hate.
I want to.
Did you know his new fucking haunting show on Netflix is The Innocents? It's fucking Turn of the Screw.
What?
No, I did not. Know
I'm
that.
so fucking pissed.
There was already a remake of that this year. Are
I know.
you kidding
One,
me?
it's also bad with
Well,
fucking
well,
Finn
of
Wolfhard.
course it is. It's
I
with
haven't
Fi-
seen
Don't
it.
you ever disrespect my son.
Yeah, but it came out in January. What did you think was going to happen,
I-
Brandon? It's a January horror
I
movie.
didn't
All
know
January.
Finn Wolfhard did anything. It's fine.
Oh.
I thought it was Stranger Things
Odd that The Innocents is similar to this.
and YouTube.
Hold on. I think.
I think that's psychological horror.
I think I need practice editing, and I'm actually going to try to edit a 90-minute version of Shutter Island.
I want to see it happen Soderbergh.
I think
I
I'm
dare
going to try
you.
it. I think I'm
Actually-
going to
no,
try
no.
it.
Frank,
Who's
look me in the
Soderbergh?
eyes.
We'll release it.
I dare you to.
I want to see.
And
I
I'll
double
sit there
dog
and
dare
I'll
you.
watch the whole thing.
I'm going to try, and if I'm wrong, I'm obviously going to give up. But if I'm gonna try. Are there deleted scenes?
There might be. I have to
And-
check the Blu-ray.
I'll email Thelma. Hey, give me all.
Yeah,
the,
hey, wait a
Give me
minute.
all the footage.
Speaking of Thelma, how do we feel?
Fine.
I feel like she's pretty not noticeable in this, which blends in.
Too
you know?
too much bad pacing. Who does that fall on? Is that Thelma's fault? Is it Marty's? It's both, right?
Yeah, well,
I
it's
kind of
definitely
blame them
both.
both all the time
I- like-
because I know what Thelma brings to the table.
Yeah.
It is unmistakable when
Once
she came on
came
board.
in, it was like, what the fuck happened?
It's like she knows how to speak your language.
Yep.
Nobody else did.
God, well,
She kno-
imagine finding
What?
that.
What he's switched out cinematographers. He's fucking switched out fucking screenwriters or whatever
Yep.
the fuck. Thelma's
Thelma's
the one
consistent.
who stayed.
and the production guy.
There's another
Dante
one.
Dante
Ferretti.
Ferretti. He hasn't done them all, but he's worked with him so many
It
times.
seems like he's done them all. Fuck. You're right. He's only late half. He's done them all.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
he didn't do
started in
Irish?
Age of Innocence.
Madness. Yeah. I thought he was around for way more than that.
I don't want to know yet. We'll find out on the Irishman episode who the production designer was.
It
but-
wasn't
Yeah.
Ferretti.
I know, that's weird.
But Thelma usually speaks his language. So I feel like when the pacing and everything, it's like she does deserve literally as much credit as him. So then I feel the same thing. This feels like the Gangs of New York. It's like I feel like y'all got a little lost
Oh, yeah.
in making your movie.
Oh, this movie gets lost in the sauce after an hour.
And
It's so weird though because
Yeah.
in the beginning of the film, at least from the book standpoint, it's like almost perfect from an adaptation.
opening was dope.
The movie
yeah,
starts
the first,
hot.
yeah, like when
And
they
we
get
literally were all saying while we were watching it, like, this is consistent with Concessi.
I know
It's
Concessi.
too much. It's too much. He's packing it all in. It's been 20 minutes. I think, was it this movie or was it, no, it was Aviator, where I said, like, it's been 25 minutes. And you guys were all like, no, it's easily been like an hour. And I was like, no, you guys. I was like, I'm telling you, it's
That
been
was
25
Aviator.
minutes.
Yeah,
And it was like 16.
And I was like,
Yeah.
woof. But I was like, it's still hot. It's good.
Concessions sound like the things we
Here-
sell as snacks when we do the Chronic Canon. I
We
think.
should.
because like yeah, the beginning of the film they nailed like almost to a T, and I think it was starting to go off after the first dream sequence with Michelle Williams when she was starting to tell him that Latest is still around, because I think the latest portion of the story is where they really were starting to get a bit more lost
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
because
cut all the
Well,
latest.
that's
stuff.
also where fucking
Well, no, because
he is
it's-
focused on, because latest. It's
well,
you.
no,
you
well, no,
need to-
Frank, because the latest stuff is kind of what they really missed in the book, because a lot of like the comparisons that I've been talking about, like the stuff like the stuff in that now I'm forgetting what it's called when they were like in the inside house in the and they're by the cemetery and they went and
The
mausoleum.
mausoleum. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because the mausoleum scene
Or
that's
haunted
that-
mansion, mausoleum.
That's in the latest chapter of like the whole latest like course of the book.
Got it.
And it follows more toward the note that Rachel left. And while he's out in the path, he sees 13 stacks of rocks. And like he's trying to like figure out more of the path through that. And
that sounds like Ari Aster.
yeah.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
yeah. And I think
Tailor-made
Ari
for
Aster
him.
would be a good pick. And and then it goes more toward past memories of him and Dolores, and like you see
I
like
would've liked
other
more of
people,
that.
and you see people that like was around his life, like friends of like a friend of Dolores, like the day they met and stuff. Like you see like conversations with her and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They go a lot more in depth with this past story, and I think with this story with the war, they did really good with in the film, especially because the cinematography and all those sequences were just breathtaking.
That's definitely the highlight of the movie, I think, on like a filmmaking level. Is
Abs-
definitely all the memory stuff, but especially the
that
war
stuff
one.
they got really well, but then a lot of the important values into it either just became a quick line of dialogue or felt so rushed in a scene, and I felt bad for Ben Kingsley because it seemed like he was responsible to really add a lot of like the little elements to the story, but I think it was just brought up way too quickly in such a short amount of time that we couldn't recollect all of that than we could reading a book.
I will. Well, that's inevitable. So then you
Yeah.
have to learn how to adapt it to the format you're trying to tell the
Yeah.
story in.
And
they
I
did
think,
not.
well, in the beginning it was perfect, and then like the more it went on, it was just, and then the ending they get it all, they get
They
it
do.
all right, and they add that extra great element that I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
So it's just like, so that's why it's just such an oddball for me, because like, yeah, there's like the beginning and end portion I got right, but the whole destination to there was a little sloppy.
It is sloppy. I think even Brandon agrees. That is something we all have collectively said.
Yeah.
Is just like the middle isn't what it needs to be to connect the bridge of like a pretty good movie. We should talk about the ending scene, the whole the reveal to the end.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did think I was Ben Kingsley. Literally, the first thing he's saying being "Baby, why are you wet?" or whatever.
Yeah, why you
I
wet?
was like, that's the most. I was like, is this about to be the most incredible scene ever? And it wasn't. But I actually,
was really
as
good.
far as like sudden exposition to explain your whole movie goes, I think this actually does it pretty well because it commits to it and it really hunkers. Like when he pulls out the like board with his name and shit, and he's like Andrew Latest, Tenny
They're
Daniels.
literally
He's like,
spelling it out for you.
are crazy. I was like, okay, you know what? They're not doing like a quick 5-minute summary.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
like
I think it's
we
riding
have
off.
to convince you. And it's like
The
It feels like it's riding off the
the
Psycho.
whole
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
the whole movie I think what is fucked up is that there are no stakes. There are no stakes because the whole reason that
that's a
you
great
if
point.
it from,
There
from-
are, but they're not ever committed that hard.
when the movie is succeeding, and that's you're not picking up that Teddy Daniels is Andrew Latest. When the movie is succeeding, then it is strictly this story about a marshal looking for a missing patient
Mhm.
at the end of the day.
Right.
And to me, it's not like this is the last patient, blah, blah, blah. Like the stakes that they're building up are like, oh, I got to find Andrew Latest. He's the one that killed my wife, blah, 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 blah.
You know?
And so at the end, when you meet Ben Kingsley and he's like, you're crazy. Not only are you crazy, but you've been crazy for 2 years. And if we don't do something, they're going to cut you open and take out a piece of your brain. And all of a sudden you get the stakes right there. And while it's like what makes the movie frustrating is that there is nothing to latch on the journey, the way that they give it to you, just so matter of fact, like I felt like I was crazy for believing this whole thing. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, wow. Like tell it to me straight, Ben. I am sorry, Gandhi. I didn't mean to believe this.
And see, but that's
Yeah.
cool because, like, if that works, then good. That's a good movie. Because
But it matters that the journey is sloppy.
Yeah.
Like an ending
'Cause-
doesn't make a whole movie.
right,
Yeah.
but I think it's sloppier than you do. Like, or at least I don't dislike it more.
I think
You
that
know?
the sloppiness became more apparent on the rewatch because it's like this is actually giving me nothing once I know what's actually happening. It just feels tedious. It feels like a time filler.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
This
where
isn't a
it's just
movie I
like-
care about spending time with at all.
It's just like I know there's no mystery, so I need you to be building up Teddy's story more, and you're just, but he's focused on that motherfucker. Scorsese's
He's wrong.
too good at making movies.
Yeah.
This is a problem for this for
Yeah.
some reason. This needed to be
But-
a little trashy.
Well, it's a trashy, almost noir. Like you said, it's almost Kiss Me Deadly-ish.
Yeah,
And-
it totally is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I wonder if that is the difference between like an initial viewing versus like a rewatch, where like initially the problem is that there's nothing to latch onto, and then even once you know the whole mystery and you watch it again, the problem is that the middle is nothing. Like there's a reason there was nothing to latch onto, because there is nothing.
And it felt weirder because I was very latched into the book, and there was like one sequence in
Because the mystery is more expanded.
The whole
Yeah.
movie's purpose is to
Yeah,
propel Teddy
but-
towards the end.
Yeah, but one sequence in particular I thought was one of the easiest things they could do, because one thing I think they didn't expand on more into the mystery that could have added more in the psychological realm of our belief as the audience is that of how sadistic the people in the workers in this island are. And I think they didn't do that as much. Only the only one I really felt like it was with the quote unquote
The
real
guards?
Rachel. No, the
Oh.
quote unquote real Rachel. That's the only time I really felt like they actually tried to like expose these workers, that there's something weird going on. And they definitely mention a lot more stuff with medicine in the book. And I think, and I kind of get why they cut that out of the movie, because that's also just, it's a lot to really process. And and it goes into like 3 different realms of it throughout the book, because it's a lot to like process. It's a bunch of different like medical names that we don't know and all that. But one certain sequence that they could have easily done that added a lot more suspense to me in the book was when you remember the scene where they first find Rachel and Leonardo DiCaprio just gives her this big hug, and they're just like they're just in this embrace for so long, and then
Not
she's
Rachel.
like,
Are you talking about Michelle Williams?
no, no, like the first Rachel that they find.
her?
No, yeah, 'cause she
Emily
thinks it's her
Mortimer.
she thinks that he's her husband.
Oh,
Yeah, Emily
when
Mortimer.
She
hugged
hugs him.
Yeah, she hug. Yeah, when they hug.
That's
yeah.
a big difference.
Sorry. Yeah, but when and in the book when he touches her hair, he feels something that clearly shows that the hair has been dyed,
Interesting.
and they
But then that means that it's like
That's just more
Literal-
red herring.
Well,
Yeah.
no, to me, like that's almost like frustrating.
That's not needed in this movie. That makes sense in a book. The book you can sell the expanse of the mystery. In a feature film, not a miniseries, in a feature film, you don't have time for all that nonsense.
Yeah.
You
And
don't
you
have
know,
time for all this nonsense.
Ceci's also doing a bit of Vertigo here. Like he's definitely trying to reel that in a bit, and that's especially telling that of this movie's quality, given my love for that movie.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I think it
he
went too
screen-
depth in Vertigo. I'm sorry.
He screened Out of the Past and Vertigo to the cast and crew.
Interesting. I really want to rewatch Out of the Past.
So fucking
Ooh.
good.
I know, man.
That movie is really underrated.
Cigarette, smoking.
The best. Like the best.
Mitchum is
noir.
smooth as
No, it's-
butter.
Big Sleep.
Yeah, I
But-
did.
Interesting that those are the two
Those are my two
that he
favorite.
that he showed.
Oh,
Did you
I
guys-
thought Big Sleep and Out of the Past? Are my two
Oh.
favorite noirs.
No,
That
Well,
was really
Kiss Me Dead.
it's
Mhm.
up there.
What a picture.
In a Lonely Place is my number one.
Is that really a
Ooh,
noir though?
That's what people call it, so I'll run with it. 'Cause it's a cool
Casablanca.
pick.
He's looking at you, kid.
That's not
It's
really
not really
noir.
so-
Neither of those are
Yeah.
really noir.
Hey,
I mean, they're not. In a Lonely Place slaps.
it's a
Not
bit of a
trying to-
noir.
But did any of you
Okay.
guys get Vertigo vibes during like especially the?
Yeah,
After
well,
the
anything
first hour
involving
sequence,
Michelle
Michelle
Williams, because she's
Isn't she wearing a green dress?
I don't know if it's green. It might be yellow.
I think
But the
it's
color,
yellow.
It's
there's a-
multicolored, I think.
It's the idea itself of using the color palette, the vibrant color palette. The movie shot very vibrantly, like especially the dream sequences.
Oh,
the color
yeah.
fucking saturates like crazy.
This is his last movie shot entirely on film.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking A, okay.
And
Wow.
Sad that it was this one.
I mean, it looks great on film, and at least
I mean,
we
it
can
does,
admit
I
that.
said
yeah.
In the
Richardson does a great job.
In the
It
beginning,
looks
we
really
had
good.
some trouble deciding. We're like, is this film or is this digital? Is this film or is this
Yeah.
digital? But then we figured it out pretty
It's
soon.
always tough to know.
But
Because
that shot you see of the island, like that first shot you see of the island, is CGI. They had to put a
Yeah.
bunch of
Well, it's-
different islands together.
it's tough to
looks
know
good.
nowadays.
It looks awesome.
Like, but 2010's on, I feel like it gets harder to decipher between like, is that film? Because film just looks cleaner now.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
even
know,
when
And especially because a lot of like the background just of the outside, just in a lot of just certain sequences of the movie. It's so dreamlike that you just like can hardly tell.
We're also
Yeah.
watching like 4K remaster HD super
Well,
touched up and redone. fucking
No,
versions
actually,
of
we're
movies.
watching a straight out of 2010 Blu-ray that was bought the day it came out.
Beautiful.
That's
But
hilarious. You liked it
even
enough
the
then.
TV.
Oh, I loved
height-
it. I said I loved
heightens
it
the
then,
quality.
but I
Yeah.
also didn't have as much of a barometer for exposition then. Like, exposition really bothers me now.
But also, 2010 had a lot of other better films.
Oh yeah,
At that.
We just talked
Exposition
about
bothers
some
me more during like I don't know, like middle and beginning of movies when it's just like, why are you just telling me all this shit that I just have to remember now?
Well, that's on you.
That's
we
just
were
called being
just
lazy,
talking about
Brandon.
a movie that
I love
has an
you.
exposition ending that you like. What were we just talking about? And I was like, interesting that you like it there. But
did I
hate-
watch it recently or something?
No, I can't remember. This
Is
is
it one of
stupid
my
of me to
recently
bring up.
watched?
I don't know.
If you figure it out, let me know because I can't remember off the top.
I can't either.
Because
I mean, there are some movies, like I said, like in theory, the idea behind this is really good because the way that people who love this movie frame it is great. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds like an amazing fucking movie. It's crazy that you interpret it that way because I don't. Like, or at least I just don't emotionally resonate with it. You
Yeah.
know? But there are other movies that have done similar things to this movie that affect me on a way more intense and tangible level than this ever does. You know?
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Leo and Ceci are literally the two biggest flaws, like with
They weren't right.
the production itself of the movie. Even watching the behind the scenes, it almost feels like a staged production of a movie. Like, you know how like how in Curb Your Enthusiasm they'll stage the making of Seinfeld. It's like it does,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not really a thing that's being made. We're watching a fake making of or any mockumentary about the making of a movie.
Yeah.
It feels like that. It felt like that. It felt like there was a disconnect. Like that itself was the movie, and Shutter Island was the weird byproduct. You know, where it's just something about it that feels like detached in a way that I can't grasp the emotions. Because, like I said, the people that love this movie generally see it as a movie about like grief and trauma and
Which it is.
how like I said, it is, and that it is profoundly speaking to that point by being so obvious, by being so abrasive in its tone, shifts, and like, you know, all that other stuff, and its inconsistencies and things, like just like The Mind. But I think other movies do it a lot better. Like, I actually think a weird movie to bring up, but it's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I think it's the better version almost of Shutter Island, at least the way I see it, is Last Year, Marion Bad. It effectively does that nightmare thing way better than.
Yeah, but this is about a character. And
Well, I know
grief.
that. I know that, but I think that
Marion
that
Bad's
movie. I'm saying that it's, and also a movie that I compare to The Shining, and a movie that I think inspired it.
That I buy.
But
That I'm in on.
the idea of the tone being so abrasive, and I think that the shift when you can actually start to piece a small bit of narrative in that movie together is way more like, whoa, even though like when I watch it now, it's so fucking obvious, the whole movie, that that's all what it is, but it's so like purposely confusing and purposely ridiculous. Like I've always said, the reason that movie's brilliant is because it's a puzzle and he's just holding the pieces and not letting you see what those pieces are. And I think if there was still like a small amount of ambiguity with Teddy, but enough obviousness on top of that, I think that would have made the movie stay with me a bit more. Whereas I feel like at the end, I understood literally everything that happens. There's not much that I can't like decipher still. Stuff that doesn't like make sense, you know?
Yeah, but then, I mean, that's not always a bothersome thing.
No.
That's like a case by case basis.
But I guess that's where I'm saying that, is that in this case,
I-
that is a
and I-
negative.
And I buy that. I remember. I think an element that I haven't really considered, but upon trying to read stuff, like I think is a potent reading of the film where people are talking about the time it takes place is a
Mm.
big deal, which like obviously they allude to with all the World War II flashbacks.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't
Like
talked about
it's-
any of those.
Yeah, we did.
We did?
we-
Briefly?
Mhm.
Okay.
Not in depth. We said that it was the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, they were intense.
Actually, I
was.
think you had gotten up at that point. I just remember.
Oh, was I at the
Yeah.
fridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Duke and I have talked about how we think the strongest parts are the memories and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially
Well,
the
I
war
do-
ones.
I agree.
And it's one of those things where it's expanded more in the book, but like it's just like perfectly like adapted on screen.
So I mean, like obviously that is in the material, but I think considering like where America was at that point, like with everything, because it's like it's not a secret deal at this point that like people coming back from World War II that were like
Fucked
the
up,
most
yeah.
fucked up in a drift that we've seen on such a mass scale, and like nobody knew what to like do with a lot of people, and then they were just thrown back into society and stuff. So like and then I'm sure and I've seen things that I can't even remember any of them now, but talking about like it being a larger allegory for like America in transition or whatever,
Mhm.
having to face the demons of the past, like
Right.
trying to wake
Well,
itself up.
That makes a lot of sense.
But like strictly applying it to like the historical side of things. I'm like, interesting stuff. One of the places I read slightly things about that was Ebert's review, which he gave it a 3.5 out of 4,
Mm.
which is his first not 4-star in a while, but
Did
hilarious.
he get Bringing Out the Dead for?
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
I know.
Thanks,
I
Rod.
think, I think Kundun was the last one. I think he gave that a 3.
Okay, so wow, that's a streak. That's a sassy streak.
I mean, and before, yeah, he gave it a 3. Anyway, but I just wanted to read the like last bit of it because he brought up something that I was like, how would we answer this? It's a question.
Okay.
He said, you may read reviews of Shutter Island complaining that the ending blindsides you. The uncertainty it causes prevents the film from feeling perfect on first viewing. I have a feeling it might improve on second. Some may believe it doesn't make sense, or that if it does, then the movie leading up to it doesn't. I asked myself, okay, then, how should it end? What would be more satisfactory? Why can't I be one of those critics who informs the director what he should have done instead? Oh, I've had moments like that. Every moviegoer does, but not with Shutter Island. This movie is all of a piece, even the parts that don't appear to fit. There's a human tendency to note carefully what goes before and draw logical. Never mind. This paragraph doesn't matter. Cut that little bit out.
Right.
So let me reread the last line. Why can't I be one of those critics who informs the director what he should have done instead? And like after reading that, I was like, that is a good point. I don't know what else I would have,
Well,
other than fixing the middle.
that's
But
what I
like-
literally say. You don't change the ending. It's the middle.
Yeah.
It's all that shit
100%.
that affects the movie's
God
quality
damn
for
it.
me.
Yeah.
So fuck you, Raj.
Yeah.
Rolling in his grave. I'm sorry, man.
What?
He wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. What a G.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hilarious that Brand said it earlier that the most important film critic of like all time was just a sussy fanboy.
I know.
Just loved him.
From the
I was-
jump, dude.
Yeah.
And when
You
and
have
when
to.
and when he made a bad movie in his eyes, he got so sad. He was like, this just really sucks because like I expect so much from you, Martin. God damn it.
Soulless.
Oh, Martin was very upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Wouldn't you
Yeah.
Yes,
But
that
then
is-
he was like, fuck it. I'm going to make Last Temptation of Christ.
get back in?
He did
Raj's
get in
good side.
Raj's good grace.
I gotta do this for you, Raj.
Raj.
Sorry about the theater balance.
God's
Yes.
connected.
Raja Gods.
Exactly.
Ganja?
Yes.
Ganji.
Ganja, ganja.
Ganja ganja.
This is the Chronic Canon.
Yeah, I'm Frank.
I'm Jesse.
Brandon.
I'm Duke.
Signing off.
No.
What?
well, what's been unsaid about Shutter Island? What
Not
I feel
much for me.
Yeah, I feel like we've been circling a lot of things. Brandon, you're humming. Speak then.
Oh, okay. Something that I been keeping in my back pocket earlier when Lucas was talking about the book, going a little bit more in depth to the personnel and with the mental institution and how
Yes.
they act. I think a thing that just made me even more frustrated about this movie is when you meet Rachel too in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that is
It feels like a Marvel movie scene.
a lot of that is not only exposition, but since it's fake, it sort of makes, in the end, it does leave you a little confused because at the end of the day, lobotomizing people was very common. So that's not like the fucked up crazy shit that's going on at the hospital.
No.
They don't talk about, like, they don't really get into, like, not really, they don't get into like the over drugging and like perhaps even abuse that it seems like the book might dive into. And I feel like giving sort of those sort of, exposition-y scenes when you have it like Rachel 2 and making it something that's all an illusion is really like shitty for that storyline in particular. So I imagine people who watched this movie and read the book who are passionate about that sort of thing, very disappointed in Martin.
Maybe.
But I still like it. It's okay. It's very okay. Like, I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's like, it's all right. That's how I felt about Gangs, but Gangs is at least a little bit more fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and
Even
I'm
though
sad
that's-
that
I
I'm
haven't
saying
seen
that because
Gangs.
it's long and it's like boring. But I think a lot of
Shutter
this is
Island
long
or
and
Gang-
boring.
oh.
But the biting. No sexy in this movie. I hate it.
None.
There is no sexy in this movie. That would be very out of place if there was some
Very
sexy in
strange.
this
It would be.
movie.
Only if it were between Ruffalo and DiCaprio would I have
Yeah.
approved.
I just
Because that would have
remembered-
came out of nowhere
We're all wet from the rain.
in the
We're wet.
mausoleum.
What?
Why y'all wet, baby?
Oh
so
God!
Well-
Imagine that would have been horrifying. Fucking Ruffalo said that to him in the mausoleum.
What'd you say? Nothing.
So,
Baby, why are you wet?
Baby, why you wet?
I think. This is a shitty movie. No, I
Is
don't.
it time?
No.
Is
Hold
it
on.
time to
Hold
be
on.
blunt?
No. Hold on. I think I just remembered the Max von Sydow scene. His one real scene.
Yeah, I liked that scene.
It's a very good scene, and I just remember the
Very well
implications of
performed.
him being a Nazi doctor.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
I think there might be a smarter movie that we're not giving credit to.
I forgot about the
Hidden
Nazi
in-
doctor stuff.
But then
I-
it's just not fun to watch. Damn it!
Well, that's what I'm
Like-
saying. The movie can be doing good things and still not be great.
I want to watch it again. Kind of.
Do
Is
it.
that crazy?
No,
Frank,
the movie's great.
I swore it off when
But
we were
then
done. I was like,
in all-
literally never again.
in all honesty,
But why-
Frank, probably read the book
No.
if you would rather do that.
Literally
again.
no.
But then why
Or-
does Mark
or listen-
Ruffalo go
Or listen to a
on
read through of it.
if
Honestly,
he's a real Nazi doctor?
No. Not Mark Ruffalo. Max von Sydow. The old.
Yeah.
The one who
fucking
felt
love
one that he
felt like the
stabbed.
supervillain.
The one he like killed, but didn't kill.
No, he used the tranquilizer.
Oh, I thought. Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I thought
Mhm.
He doesn't kill him.
That's right. But he's.
I
a
mean,
Nazi.
it is a lot of a tranquilizer that he said was
Even
very
in his
strong,
mind.
and he did stab it into his like fucking neck.
Yeah, it's fine. So him,
Uh,
him though.
But
It's the implications of him being a Nazi doctor.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
Teddy
yeah,
starts
but-
to freak out. at
yeah,
him.
but Mark Ruffalo is even like like
He's the doctor.
they're trading the quips back and forth about him being German before he's like, "Whoa, Teddy, calm down. Like it's not that serious. Fucking relax." That is Mark Ruffalo's character. Like he's there, and now upon knowing the ending, you realize that he is there just to make sure he doesn't fucking freak the fuck out
Which he
Yeah.
fails at.
several times.
Yep.
And what this movie could have been.
Ending is very good.
It is.
All right, let's move on.
Even
Fun.
I even like the exposition dump scene. I think it's handled well. But then I think that final flashback's not good. But when Teddy wakes up in the very ending, I think those
Dude,
are
the
good scenes too.
Fucking
The
movie
exposition
is
dump at
they
the
are.
end is good.
contingent on that lake house scene.
It is.
Yeah.
And I laughed.
If that is a laughable scene,
That tells you how you feel.
oh good.
It's only your opinion, though. I still have.
Yeah,
I
we
still
know it's
thought-
only our opinion.
I still thought the lake house scene was very. It definitely
Okay.
does not hold up as much as it did in 2010. But it's especially Michelle Williams acting because like
I just
when
think
she
Michelle
does that-
Williams is great.
yeah
across
when,
the board.
like when she does that first sinister smile when like she says like they're at school but it's Saturday. School's not open
Oh,
on
yeah,
Saturday.
That's rough.
My school
My
is
school
that
is.
smile she gives. It gave me chills.
Bad
Even and
line.
I've seen that movie like
She's given a lot of bad lines.
It's better than it was written in the book.
I believe it. It seems to be a running theme.
Yeah,
Better in the book.
but I was gonna continue on what you were saying, Brandon. That like if you were wondering if they did expand more on how they were kind of mentally fucking a lot of these patients over. And they do go a lot more in depth with that in the book, and it goes a lot more into Frank's discussion earlier about former soldiers. It talks about a lot of like former vets who had come back and they only had one like minor thing wrong with them, like could have been something like anger management, and then once they get put on these pills or get tested for whatever reason at the island, they've like lost their shit. They do go a little bit more depth in it. They explain it, I think, well enough in the movie for you to understand, but it's just like simply lost potential. It could have been better, but I guess it's fine for what we got.
Yes. So now I think it's time to be blunt.
yes.
This is the
Yeah, I think so.
nobody has anything else they're trying to say. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
No.
No.
Everybody said everything they think they could about Shutter Island.
Yes.
Besides, just like a final thought. Yeah,
And it's time to get blunt.
Yeah.
Baby. Well, yeah, I think it's pretty clear how we all feel about the Shutter Island. I think it's always pretty clear. And I guess it could be the drama of will it get in the canon if we all like it.
I think it's a good like even split because you and Jesse are more on the side of like not liking it, and me and Brandon definitely liked it, especially a lot more than you guys.
I give this a 2.5.
Same.
Okay, right down the middle.
I think
Out
give
of
it a
5, out of 5.
three
I-
and a half, or was it a 3?
I
Three
would
and a
Might be
half.
a 2 because weirdly enough, I might like New York better.
I mean, it's way better.
I,
It's crazy.
I would definitely have it at a 3.5 because especially
Oh.
like from a filmmaking standpoint, cinematography is beautiful and direction from Scorsese is really good because it always is, and the cast is good enough. And like I definitely think Leo was not the right choice for Teddy, but I also think Teddy was written a little bit differently in the book to a way that maybe Leo could have done a bit better with Teddy, but he definitely wasn't the right choice. But I do love the story, and it could just be more the fact that I was very intrigued in the story from both the book and the movie. That it's still always a pleasurable experience every time I watch it, but I can't imagine myself watching Shutter Island again
Does it?
anytime soon.
Do you think? Oh yeah, you don't get a vote.
Wrap it up.
Do you
What?
think? What do
You
you,
what are your blunt thoughts?
give us your
Oh,
bluntness.
it's not in the canon if you're asking
No,
me.
no, 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 no,
And
no.
you're
We know
right.
it's. I feel we know it's
It's not in the
canon.
canon.
It's not canon worthy.
No,
Even
it's
as
not.
a person who liked it, I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
There's no
not
reason
not in our
this
canon.
belongs.
No.
It's like, why
Especially
would you
because
be
the
in here?
last two were.
It's like if
Yeah.
Cape
Especially
Fear
because
is not in the canon.
knowing
Huh?
the
Except Cape Fear is not in the canon.
Correct.
This is not. in the
knowing
canon.
what horror movies that are gonna inevitably be inducted, it's like, yeah, you don't even fucking hold a candle to these
Mhm.
guys.
True.
It wouldn't
Or
be my
emotional
canon.
trauma
I think
dramas.
that this is another movie that falls under the stupid ladder camp of the movie that I've seen before done better, which is a like biased category, not real criticism, but
Yeah.
unfortunately does have weight for me. Like in the sense that I do find that I'd rather mine movies that have the potential for more each time I come back to them than seeing something like I said, like anytime I see Shutter Island, I'm going to reach the same conclusion, I think. I know that Frank has theorized that there's the possibility there's a smarter movie in here, and I think that he's tried to get to it. And we've talked about the ways that he's tried, but every time we circle back around, it's like, but it's
I'm gonna
still not
find
good.
I'm gonna find the 90-minute masterpiece. I
I
swear.
want to see it. I really do. I think that DiCaprio's a miscast. I think
Oh,
Scorsese
miscast.
is a
Mm.
bad choice
Misfire?
for the director. I think that Lynch or Fincher could have done it better. Lyncher could have done it better.
Flincher.
Awful.
Flincher,
Better.
that's better. But yeah, no, it's just not great for me, and I'm really sad to say that because, like I said, it was riding a vibe that I genuinely vibe with.
What thing you made a weird reference at the top. You were like, it's something in relation to a movie on your list. What were you talking about? You're like, it's below or above something.
I think he said like he was gonna give it
Shocking.
a 2 because he thought New York
No.
was
Was
oh,
better.
that the thing?
gangs.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
New
okay.
York.
Because I was just like, man, I didn't give a shit about that movie. I really don't give a shit about this movie either,
Yeah,
honestly.
same.
And I don't know if
I
that's
give more
just,
of a shit about this one actually, but I
Yeah.
still like Gangs more.
it's
Very
weird.
weird. I
I think it's because you care more about the integrity of this idea. It
Can
could
I-
have been a better movie.
Can I tell you my cinephile sin?
What?
I have it above Casino.
Oh, whatever.
That is kind of a sin.
I haven't even seen Casino, and I'm a little
fine.
bit bummed.
I
Fine.
have it below Last Temptation.
It's fine.
That's crazy.
It's fine.
But
I
Jesus
love
is
the
redundant.
idea.
We've been over this.
I know Jesus is redundant. 2020.
And so is this movie.
I will say,
What? Swish.
Got him.
I will say that Shutter Island probably is definitely not in my canon. But
you
don't get a
The
vote.
Duke, the Duke
We
is
don't care
canon.
about
Hey,
the
everyone
Duke
can
is-
have their own
the
canon.
Duke is
Yeah,
canon.
That's
the
the whole
Duke is-
thing.
You
We
are not
encourage
in
you to
it.
make your own chronic canon.
yeah,
Let
Duke-
us know
yeah,
what it is,
yeah,
and we'll tell
Duke's
you why you're
canon.
wrong.
Yeah, Duke's canon. You can find it in the fourth dimension. And
Take a visit sometime.
anyway, but Shutter Island definitely holds a special place in my heart because definitely when it comes to like, I was definitely becoming more of a cinephile around that time, and that was one of the first like new releases that I was genuinely so excited for, and had a lot of people around me that were also very excited. So it-
Sentimental value.
yeah, and plus like it was one of the first times where I'd liked a movie a lot and decided to read the book and really compare and contrast. So it's always got that. It's definitely got a special place in memory, but it definitely is a sad thing to say that it definitely is no masterpiece.
That is a bummer because my version of that is No Country for Old Men, so I'm set for a lifetime. Of just like I got the best deal in that.
And then you woke up.
I saw a movie, I was like, there has to be something more. Read the book, there literally isn't. Okay, like cool, good book.
And on that note,
Wait, Brandon never got point. Did
Yeah, I
you?
did.
Okay, on that note, not in the canon. Goodbye.
Not in here.
Sorry, Shutter Island. We're gonna see if little baby Hugo can make its way up there.
U.S. Federal Marshal.
Eddie Daniels. I was like, it's so
Another
stupid. He's
Boston
doing the
movie.
Boston thing again. It's like, why are we doing this? So it's like, okay, he wants De Niro to be an Irishman, and he wants Scorsese to be a Bostonian, or he wants DiCaprio to be a sailor peg who lost his leg.
He is a sailor pig who lost
Yep.
his leg.
No, I am the sailor.
Getting
at the
shot
top
Howie
sales?
style.
Pop, pop. That's a spoiler.
Yep.
We're about to go into more
And a
spoilers.
A shock
Pop, pop.
ending, not a twist ending. A shock ending.
Right. And Shutter Island has a twist ending.
Yes.
Undeniable TWIST
Might
with a
be
capital
shocking
T.
to Teddy, but not us.
No, but
It
it's a
was a
big old
twist.
twisteroo.
Yes.
And there's lots of movies that have famous twist endings. You
Well,
got
if
yours-
anything, the twist should be the thing that pulls your heart into your ass, and this movie doesn't do it.
makes a good twist is something that makes you reevaluate everything you've seen before.
Yeah.
You have to reconsider all the information you're presented. We've
Yeah.
already name checked a few, like The Game, The Innocence, and Kiss Me Deadly.
Yes.
All those have top tier fucking twists.
Hell
great.
yes.
Innocence, I'd say, is actually a
Innocence
shake.
teeters on the line between something like The Shining
Shine.
and Last Year Marion Bad too, though, where it's like ambiguous still, where you're
Totally.
not sure.
Totally. But the
I think it's confirmed though. in
famous
my head.
ones like Sixth Sense, Fight Club, Empire Strikes Back.
Well, I remember the
most
Fight Club
famous.
twist blowing my fucking mind when I was
Absolutely.
like 13. I fucking watched it on
Dude.
a portable DVD player like at night. It's like going before I went to sleep.
Earmuffs.
That's
you don't
how I.
want to
fe-
hear earmuffs.
That's how I felt about Sixth Sense. No, that's why I was
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
dude. That's how I felt about the Sixth Sense. Watching it in the goddamn auditorium in high school, being fucking like 14
Forget
years
about that.
old, and was just like, all right, this is cool. Like, I'm a big fan of Bruce Willis. Like, Bruce Willis is a pretty cool guy. Like, oh shit, Haley Joel Osment, he can see dead people. That's a little creepy. And then I remember the scene where they're crawling through, and then like you just flash over, and it's just a girl like
Puking?
throwing up.
Horrifying.
Yeah, that
One of
scene
the
is
5 most
terrifying. Like,
imprinted
the-
images in my
Just
brain.
like, what the fuck is going on? And
I turned it
how-
off. I'm sorry.
But the big twist at the end was something like I don't remember ever being that genuinely shocked at that point in my life by a movie. Just being like, you can do that? That's not cheating?
Yeah,
what the
right.
fuck?
I know, dude.
That I think that is one of my earliest ones too. Planet of the Apes too.
Well,
Technically.
I mean, that's one of the most famous ones.
Yeah.
That ending has been spoofed so
That
many
it's,
times.
That it's the Earth. He was on Earth the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a twist.
Have you seen the Tim Burton version?
Yes.
I used to love that shit when I was a kid.
I
Oh
was-
my god.
I was such
Marky
a big fan
Mark.
of the old ones that I was like, fuck this garbage.
I'm almost curious to because I forgot that movie existed, and then I was just like, "What?" That's another one of those movies. It's like that
Fever
feels like
Dream?
it was made in a movie. Like it doesn't feel like a real movie. It was like a movie about making the remake of Planet of the Apes
That-
with Mark
yeah.
fucking Wahlberg and Paul Giamatti and Tim Roth.
So
Bro, I don't know that version.
it's
You'd
garbage.
probably like it.
no.
Isn't Michael Clark Duncan in it too?
Yes.
He's the big guy. He's I
Wow.
want to watch it again.
Mark
Might be
Clark
good.
Duncan's the big guy in the movie? No way.
What are some of your
No.
guys' favorite twist endings in movies?
Tough for me to know. Like off the top, I asked you to write down like
I
a
did,
huge
but I
ass
thought
list.
you were gonna
Name drop the ones that you know I'll say, because I want to know how well you know me.
Psycho.
I mean, like
The obvious one.
it's tough to say I know or I love the twist because it's so ingrained where I'm like it's almost like the same effect as Shutter Island where I'm like that's just part of it. It's like yeah, I know. But fucking Psycho in a disturbing way is like comfort food. It's like it's just I watch it and I'm like this is great. Like I don't have to question the things that go on. I'm like this is very very good stuff and I can still enjoy it at the maximum level every time. Whereas and I try to like avoid watching it too often, you know?
Yeah.
But the ending, like for what it is, like I said, whenever I meet somebody who's like, I've never seen Psycho and I don't know what happens, I'm like, well, there are 2 moments in that movie that are going to blow your goddamn mind. So
Yes.
sit back and buckle up, baby.
Yeah.
Because Hitchcock's about to take you on a ride.
Did you know before you first saw it?
Well, I was like 8 when I saw it for the first time, and I don't think I did.
We didn't.
I would imagine that I knew about the shower scene
Yep.
and stuff like
I
that.
knew the
just from
shower.
watching stuff about movies and stuff. I was probably watching those shows about horror movies at the time, too.
The
So maybe I
scariest
did
movie
know.
moments.
No, like
Yeah.
the Bravo's 100 scariest
Yeah,
movies.
So I
but
probably did know how it ended, but they probably talked about the shower scene in those
it was,
documentaries.
it was probably
so-
just the shower scene. Like that's like the more like.
But Brandon, you haven't
iconic.
seen it?
Psycho?
Yeah.
No, I
And-
just know about the shower scene.
You don't
Good.
know how it ends,
That
though?
is chocolate syrup.
And do you know
Yes.
where the shower scene happens in the movie?
That's already too much.
Okay.
And I know that Norman's like his mom.
Well, that's
That's
twist.
That's the twist.
That's-
we spoil
that's
movies
it.
on this podcast.
Oh,
It's a pretty fucking. That's what the thing.
It's so obvious.
It's
Everybody
very rare.
knows.
I feel like it. I literally
not
have said
obvious,
it. It
but
is as a
everybody knows.
cinephile. It is a treat to meet somebody who has never seen Psycho and doesn't know anything about it. Because
True.
that's the kind of movie that I wish I could rewind the clocks back and watch that for the first time
I
again.
didn't know that was
Yeah.
the twist. I'm sad I know it.
Yeah. But it's still a great movie. Like I said,
Yeah.
knowing it doesn't take away from the movie. It's still great because the movie.
Yeah, and the other one's gonna whap you in
Man,
the face. Then
that's a great movie. It's fucking, and then that scene, the Shutter Island mirror scene, fucking kind of blows it a little bit. But that even Hitchcock would say that. Just real quick, because they're getting a 4K version to come out with an unrated cut that apparently was the original theatrical cut, Hitchcock's original vision, but we have only ever seen edited versions of Psycho still. Like the only version I've ever seen is an edited version, which is really weird to me. Never even knew this existed.
Me
Moving on
neither.
though.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other movies. You
Yeah.
know? Does anybody else have any that they remembered?
I can't really. I definitely wouldn't say that this is my favorite twist of all time, but it's definitely probably up there for my favorite movie with a twist ending. And this one, the first ones we talked about earlier, and that's Scream.
Oh yeah,
Because that's
The
just
kind of half twist.
yeah. Well,
I like it.
Well, it's cool because like they were kind of pulling they were pulling the card of Billy being the prime suspect like way in the beginning to kind of already throw you
Pull you
to
off.
pull you off of the fact that oh well if they're already suspecting him then he's clearly not going to be the fucking killer
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah.
And surprise, he is. And then
and surprise, he's not alone.
and
then the
and
last
surprise,
person you
Shaggy's
you-
with him.
The last person you expect is Matthew Lillard, and I think that is one of the. I never in the first time I
the
saw
first time.
Scream.
yeah, okay, yeah. For the
I
first,
was like,
okay,
what?
okay, yeah.
No, I mean it's obvious now.
yeah,
Well,
when you
no,
rewatch
well,
it, he's
the-
Like
such
in the
a lunatic.
in that one,
It's a
opening
very good
scene with
dynamic.
him,
Oh,
where
sorry.
like Jamie Kennedy like says something to him like, "You're probably the killer." He's like, "No, why the fuck would you say that, man?" And like
Yeah.
some weird shit.
That
like
was the scene I was going to mention because like it's when Nev Campbell is pointing a gun at both Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy. It's a good like especially
Yeah.
for when you're first watching the film because
Yeah,
both
that's
because
foreshadowing.
both Randy
What a
and
good
because
movie.
it's so because Randy and Stu could have easily been the killers. Either one of them
Yeah.
could have been the second killer. So that's what made it like
classic
so.
that the killer would know all the rules about being a killer,
and it's
you
just
know.
and it's also just makes it so much more intelligent that Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson were clearly trying to poke fun at the horror genre while also giving you some truly unique twists and turns.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say the whole Drew Barrymore thing because that's kind of
I
like
mean,
the way it
that's
is
like
in
the way
Psycho,
Psycho works.
but that wasn't the original plan. That was all Barrymore. So like
That's so
that, so
smart
like
of
that,
her.
so that couldn't have. So you can't really
Genius.
say that was because she was supposed to be Sidney Prescott. So imagine watching Scream 4 and not having Nev Campbell be the badass.
Dude.
Props to Drew
Have
Barrymore.
we talked about that? The actors making the call, the right call, like the actor doing it,
Yeah,
What
that
do you
was
like
genius.
the actor making the right decision, being like, "Nah, man, this isn't right for the movie. I shouldn't do this."
Oh yeah, we
Like-
we talked about that last week with Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
He said he was too old for The Departed.
so cool. I
Like,
love when
yeah.
this shit
Smart guy.
happens. Real smart.
That's
You
smart
gotta-
gal
you
for
put-
Drew.
Yeah, put the movie first.
It's like the whole thing, because I mean, the scene in Scream works in its own bubble. You know,
It could have
Yeah.
been a short film and like at like a horror fest and it would have won like everything.
not the movie Frank was talking about earlier,
sorry.
but a great example of the movie that is on the nose that I like.
What?
Scream.
Oh,
Very on the nose.
well, yeah, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Satire is supposed to be on the nose.
But
Yeah.
that's
That's how it
also
works.
but it's also what makes the twists that more great because
it's
you're
still
having
kinda
such
scary.
because you're like while you are like scared on on some occasions after the Drew Barrymore scene it definitely calms down for a while. I think until the garage scene is where it really gets back into that full like suspense
Yeah,
thrill.
Kinda, but I feel like even the garage scene is played for laughs in a way because of how obnoxious it is. It's like, why? What are you doing? You're
But-
going through the
Yeah,
doggy
yeah,
door.
but then the actual death is so like oh shit then like yeah. And then like Billy comes in and then brings all the tension up and then the party starts to like fade out and fade out.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really good tension. And then the twist it does hold up. And I still always quote whenever he turns around to shoot Randy and just goes sometimes because speaking
yes,
of Psycho.
yes, sir. But this isn't
yeah.
a Scream podcast.
It's not a Psycho podcast. It's not an anything but Ceci podcast. So his best twist ending is Shutter Island.
Yeah, because that's like the only twist ending he has.
No,
only one.
maybe
And-
King of Comedy.
I haven't
What's the
I
twist?
haven't seen
That
King
he
of Comedy, so I
literally
wouldn't know.
he becomes famous.
I know, but
The-
we also debated if that was delusions of grandeur.
It's Delusions of Grandeur.
It is.
In a similar vein of Scream, you got Clue, which feels like
Yep.
it's making fun of twist endings, like it's the
Yeah.
satire on horror, the satire almost on mysteries, and
Yes.
therefore twist endings, because
Yeah.
that's the crux of most mysteries. Like the whodunits at least, because
Yes.
it's supposed to be a shock. Who done it
I wish I could have lived in that era with when it came out.
in the 80s? Got to go to the movie theater, try to catch a new ending.
Yeah.
Some other ones we talked about. Old Boy, that's an obvious
Oh,
one.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a biggie.
Saw is actually an amazing one.
That is one of the
yeah.
most mind blowing
Yeah,
for the first
that's
time
very good.
seeing
It-
it.
Very
yeah. For
We-
the first time.
Because I remember thinking that movie was gonna be ass when I watched it.
even
for the first
twists and
time.
even twists
Rules.
and even all the twists in the sequels, even one of them. Well,
It gets ridiculous.
It
Well,
gets
once
so
you
ridiculous.
once you know what you're
Yeah.
doing, I think is when you start to fall apart. A lot of things, a lot like the best things is like lightning in a bottle, where it's like, oh shit, I happen to create
I see what you're
this
saying.
incredible thing with a lot of intention, but like I didn't know it was gonna be this.
Like
But once-
Shyamalan.
Yeah. So once you know, like he made the Sixth Sense, and then it was another one right after, right? That also did well.
Unbreakable.
which I do think is a good twist.
Yes.
But then he locks into the I
The
do
I
twist.
do
guy.
twist, like that's becomes a whole like meme of his.
Unbreakable's a
Yeah.
great movie.
But I think
I bet
once
It's
you
his best movie.
once you think you know what you're making that people like, and you start to play into it, is when a lot of things fall off.
Yeah.
Or
Some
but
directors do it
unless
well,
you
others
go
do it poorly.
unless you go with it, like you go with it, and you also acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm doing this, which is the most like why 22 Jump Street almost works. It's not the best, but like the way that
They
they
have a twist ending.
no, but like the acknowledging, like playing into knowing
being a
what
sequel.
like knowing what you're doing.
Well, now we're
Basically.
talking- Okay.
Self-aware.
I'm not talking about. I'm
Satire.
just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's a
just saying.
necessary component to pull off a twist ending.
Yeah.
You have to commit to your twist ending. How do we feel about twists as a whole?
You know,
If
in-
it's done right, I love it.
Oh yeah.
I guess that's the only feeling, isn't it?
I think it's a really
Yeah.
fine line to ride when you do a twist. Like you could
Mhm.
blow the whole goddamn thing.
You're
It
right.
really has to work.
It can
Yeah.
ruin an entire movie.
Yeah, it can.
Or it can make a whole movie. If you do it right, it's the craziest shit in the world. Like Lucas mentioned it, and I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know if you've seen it, Brandon. But Memento.
Yeah, please don't spoil what it is. But
Yeah.
that makes the movie to the next level.
And I don't
Mhm.
like to talk Nolan up too much. But, you know, he's got a big enough
his
head. But it
masterpiece.
is his best.
And speaking of Nolan, Prestige has a pretty good twist as well.
That is
Yes.
another one that the twist is great.
Prestige was just too smart for my little brain.
Yeah, it's literally.
I,
we
I
went in
literally
depth about
I
that last
watched
week.
it because we had the DVD, and I was like, Hugh Jackman,
He
Wolverine,
made the Prestige and
Christian
then he got
Bale,
goddamn cocky.
Batman, perfect. Popped it in and was like, what the clones? Magic? What's going on?
Dude, he's
Science.
Inception, bad twist.
What's even the twist?
Don't say it.
Everything was a dream.
No, you're right. There isn't
It's
one.
not a twist. It's an ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
It's
I
like a
understand.
is.
It's like, shut the
It doesn't matter. Inception is the better Shutter
But The Dark
Island.
Knight is where
Honestly.
he completely or rises. The Dark Knight Rises is where he completely
Oh, yeah.
flounders.
I think.
It's a tip of the glass.
I think.
Fucking Interstellar.
I'm now realizing actually that's not a ludicrous thing. Inception and Shutter Island are the same movie, and Inception's better. It's a movie about making movies that's also about repressing your traumas and dealing with it by escaping to a fantasy world.
And has Leo DiCaprio.
In both in 2010.
Nah.
They're like the same movie, and Inception's 30 times.
I will
better.
be watching Inception tomorrow.
I know it's a random, like, off-topic to mention because when you were talking about Inception and comparing it to Shutter Island, Joseph Gordon-Levitt could have even been a better pick for Mark Ruffalo.
I was about to say,
Mark
as soon as you
Ruffalo?
said that, I was like, Mark Ruffalo, yes.
Yeah.
Not
Levitt-
the Leo.
No, not
Well,
Leo.
No,
not
actually, wait a minute. No.
Why
Absolutely
not the
not.
Leo?
Levitt does the emotionless, hollow guy so poorly. He's the worst part of Inception.
He is the worst
Check
part
it.
of
Yeah.
Inception.
Yeah,
He's
but-
he feels a little.
He's
lost.
only there to do the fucking woo scene, and that's
Fuck you
it.
guys.
but it's awesome.
It's awesome.
Hey, first time I saw it, I thought he was
I-
the
you
best
know-
part, which is the weird. Well, no, Tom Hardy.
I kind of
That's
Tom
also-
Hardy is the best.
I
Is-
kind of want to watch it again just because I think it's almost just like,
rules.
does no one know he's goofy?
Is Joseph Gordon-Levitt the actor that you always
God
want
damn
to
it.
love in a
Yes.
movie, but like
yes.
always end up being like,
No, he's the
It's
guy
not.
I want to love, and then I'm like, but your acting's not that great, actually. Like you're
This was
not.
not a part of the mission. You were not prepared for this.
That's,
I think
that's a
once he
Leo line.
Once
I
he
know.
became a star, I think Levitt lost his like chops.
I like Don John.
Yeah. Don John is.
Tom John is actually.
It's all right. It's pretty good.
I don't know.
The ending
I'm
is
afraid
so
to ever
pretty.
go back.
I think it might be smart.
I think it was like a little.
It might be. It might be. It might be very not
This
smart.
fuck-
If you're just looking
it's
for a
fucking
silly
The way
good
dime.
that
time.
I feel like it probably
This
leans towards the
dime
other
the
one.
other
You know what,
night,
let's not talk
Scarlett
about it.
Johansson.
Oh, yeah, but an unpopular twist of mine. I don't know, like, because I know Jesse, you've seen this. I don't know if you've seen this, Frank, but have you seen the film Frailty?
No.
I mainly wanted to bring it up because Bill Paxton. I think is that one of the only movies he's directed. I don't think
it's
I've
the only movie he directed.
and it's actually a pretty like it's a very
Solid.
It's a very good film, and the twist is good, unless if only that Bravo
It was
special didn't
spoiled to me by the
spoil it
Bravo
for.
special,
Yeah,
but a lot of movies
I don't
were spoiled
remember.
for me by the Bravo special. I think
Yeah.
that was the 13 even scarier movie moments. Not
it
the 100
was,
scariest movie
but
moments.
like that was like when they full fledged gave away that whole damn twist. And I'm
yeah.
like,
Well, that's the
come
thing that they
on.
were riding on being the scary thing.
He directed one other movie.
Really?
The golf movie with Shia LaBeouf, the greatest game ever played.
Uh,
Bill
I-
Paxton directed.
That's
Rest-
where
Oh.
that's where I got Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy from.
Oh,
I thought
really?
this was
Great.
Holes.
Great Shutter Island-esque twist. Rosemary's Baby.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little.
First time you see it,
Identity.
Did anybody say
Yeah.
climax? Did we say climax? I think we said climax earlier in our
climax doesn't have
conversation.
a twist.
Not climax. I'm sorry, Suspiria. Did
Yeah.
we say Suspiria?
Oh, the remake.
Oh,
yeah,
No,
we were
didn't.
talking-
we
we
talked
talked about
how
the remake
that
earlier
it got
on.
brought up, and yeah, that
Yeah.
Luca would have done this better. And I was like, he's
Yes.
done a twist. He's done it.
Guadagnino's version definitely has twists.
Sorry.
I would-
They're
I would-
both red movies.
I would love to see a
Yes.
Lucas series of Shutter Island for sure.
For some reason, I thought
Yeah.
I heard Lucas series. I was like, what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah, no, it's not a twist ending. I was gonna say Mulholland Drive, but it's the.
I
it's the
saw that.
shift.
I saw
It's the
that.
shift.
I was looking up like lists of like movies with twists, and Mulholland Drive,
Well,
popped up
because
on there a
everybody
lot,
would
but yeah.
consider that a twist in general theory.
the real twist. Is
But I think if you're calling it a
Sleepaway.
twist ending, it's like the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, fucking God. Look, I'm not going to spoil Sleepaway Camp for the two of you because you just got to see it to
You
believe
just
it.
need to
Okay.
see it. Trust me, the ending
You don't
twist
need
is
to
so
see
worth
it.
it. You can guess so many different things, and 90% likely you will not guess what this twist is.
I'll say this. It's a choice.
Good.
It is a
certainly a
choice.
We love a choice.
And
we
when you-
always love a choice.
And then read the behind the scenes footage of the twist because it is fucking hilarious.
I'm reading 3 more off this list.
Cool.
The Mist. It's just. I love
The worst acting
it. Disagree.
by Thomas Jane.
Disagree. He's great.
The Punisher just
Fucking
trying
that
to
movie.
shoot himself
It's awesome.
with no
After
bullets.
murdering his son.
No, it's rough.
When
It's
the
rough.
army
Ugh.
is just like it's too soon after,
Yeah.
like it's too quick of a scene.
Like it's
Hey.
got like it
It's
can
like-
only be funny.
The only unfortunate
But
part
it's-
about that is
it
I already
sells it.
hear it in my head.
Yeah, and
You know
also
what I hear?
No.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, That's fair.
But also, I remember when I was watching it at work, and my friend did like a Snapchat filter over Thomas Jane's reaction, and that definitely took away
Ruins the
It
image.
ruins it even more if you already think the acting's not that good.
Sorry to bother you.
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
out of
Don't tell
nowhere.
me.
We won't tell you, but boy, you will never. You will. It's impossible to guess where that's.
I believe
headed.
that. I believe
Is it
that.
if it's still on Hulu?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Definitely
was
check it
during
out.
quarantine.
Definitely check. That's how I watched it.
And last one, fun cinephile one, Taste of Cherry.
Oh yeah, baby.
I have not seen Taste of Cherry.
The only way that movie could have ended, and literally the last thing I ever would have guessed was going to happen on a movie screen.
It's the funniest fucking movie
Crazy.
ending ever.
Fucking great. It's
Does
batshit.
hard candy count?
Yeah,
No. That's like halfway
It's
through.
revealed early
yeah.
on.
And
yeah.
plus, isn't that based off
Or
a
are you
true
saying
story?
that she didn't
so, like,
cut
if
his
you,
balls?
hard candy.
well, or like based off
No,
like,
when he
so-
when he
or-
kills himself.
or is
Does
it
he?
or it might have been like a book. 'Cause I thought it was adapted from something.
It's not a twist that he kills himself. She
Yeah,
gives him an
that's just-
ultimatum.
That's just what happens. That's
Says,
just plot, baby.
Baby.
So good. I want to watch it.
So maybe
It's
instead of
fine.
doing so twists, we like them when they're good, they're great. When they're bad, they're ruining of a movie.
oh yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty well known.
So you
across
gotta
the
you
board.
gotta know what you're doing.
I
You gotta
got-
be committed to the bit, and you gotta make sure it tracks on a second viewing, which is why The Sixth Sense is brilliant, actually, and probably the best twist of all time because you go back and you're like, how did I? It's literally so obvious, it's crazy. It's so good. Maybe instead of recently watched, we should bring on our second guest and do the thing we were gonna
Yeah, I
do.
think so. So we have an impromptu guest, and ironically, it's somebody that if you've been listening live in your ears,
Not ours.
not in ours, then you've met this guy before. Maybe it was
We'll
recently,
share 'em,
maybe it
Mike.
was a while ago. No, I got one right here. He can take this and he can kneel down right here.
Okay.
He can kneel down right here. Get on over
Call it
here.
call it a
If
piece
you
of
listen
deal.
to this podcast, you know who is coming to the dugout.
There you go.
Coming out of the dugout.
It's
sorry.
Nick.
It's Nick.
Nick.
Dang.
Right here, baby.
Oh, hey guys. Hello.
Hello again.
So why are we bringing Nick on? I'm in the dark.
Wait. What? Give us a heat quote. Anything.
Ooh. Sit down, Ralph.
Perfect.
Only because it's your new Wi-Fi password.
Yes.
We literally
cut that.
No, it's perfect. You don't know how perfect that is. I set you
After
up
we-
an hour and a half ago. I set you up for that.
Our
Thank
neighbors are taking our Wi-Fi. I guess we're off Dead by Daylight for a while.
Whenever we lag out, you know why.
you.
This fucking Nick sabotage.
All right, real fast, since you already got you here. Nick, have you seen Shutter Island?
I have, yes.
Quick opinion.
Generally speaking, the end is fantastic. I think it gets a little muddled throughout. Overall, I like it as a popcorn movie.
Got it. Good take. What about twists?
Twists. My favorite one that I didn't hear you guys already talk about is a twist not actually at the end, but in the middle.
We were specifically talking twist endings, but you should still say
I'm
it.
still going to say it. Place Beyond the Pines.
Yes.
I don't know if everyone's seen
yeah.
it here, but when...
Craziest movie experience
I mean,
maybe
it's
ever.
a
That's a
twist at the
psycho
end.
shift.
That's a twist at the end of someone's story for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking fair.
Well, especially because of the way they advertised the movie. That's
Fucking
one they
dog.
set up.
Genius.
Because it was hot off the heels
That's
of
how
Pride.
Frank fucking advertised it to me. Set me up.
I knew.
Ooh.
I was like, I gotta sell it that it's just the Gosling story.
Because it's hot off the heels of Drive. The actual trailer was just Ryan Gosling on a motorcycle
Yep.
robbing banks, and you're like, oh, I know what this is going to be about. And then it totally...
45 minutes in, you're in for a
Fucks you.
big surprise.
Ever get lonely?
Ooh, but this,
Stop. I almost started crying.
but not, or this actually, I could ask everyone this. Anyone have a pick for a worst twist of all time? Since we were kind of talking about how a bad twist could really impact a movie.
The Visit.
Orphan.
I did not mind it. It wasn't that bad.
No, my God. Why?
I thought
would-
The Visit was a fun movie.
As it, yeah,
Orphan's
it's
fun.
fun,
Orphan's
but
fun.
it immediately falls apart when you think about why, as a mother who hasn't talked to her parents in fucking years,
Yes,
would just
just like-
blindly send your children over there. Like,
Stupid.
that's not one of the things that's like, haha, that's so stupid. It's like, no, that's legit.
dude.
That is a flaw.
Somebody take those kids away from them.
Yeah.
Like, why
It's
would
an
you?
M. Night Shyamalan movie.
They tried to
Uh,
kill them.
High tension. That literally ruined the entire movie. For
Never
me.
seen
I
it.
already didn't like it. Then the twist happened. I was like, this is actually a garbage movie. I didn't know. Surprise.
Ooh. I remembered when we saw this piece of shit in theater so many years ago. Do you remember Silent House with
Yes,
Elizabeth
that was the other
Olsen?
one I thought of.
Yeah, like it was like because I remember being
The-
like
the one take
it was
movie?
pretty intense throughout, but then that stupid fucking twist ending just ruined the entire
Yep.
film. I remember we were all just walking out just so
1 star.
Angry.
1
I
out of
remember
5.
thinking Cruising was a twist ending, and that killed the movie. And then the next time I watched it, I was like, oh,
This
that was
why
a
brilliant.
contemplative ending.
Yeah.
That why brilliant.
That way, brilliant. Okay, solid. So Nick, you're here to hang and watch Hugo with us next week's episode. But we also were gonna do a thing, and you're involved, and this worked it out. This made it work out.
I
I don't
worked it out.
actually
What
know
is
the whole
going
thing.
on?
Jesse knows the whole
I
thing.
don't know either, Brandon. I'm
So
scared.
Jesse, take the wheels.
It was recently Lucas's birthday.
Oh, yes.
How old are you, buddy?
23.
Nice.
23 years
old.
young. Anyway, it was recently Lucas's birthday. Nicholas bought Lucas a gift, and that gift is here. And he has not opened that gift, and he doesn't know what it is, so we thought we'd open it on mic.
Because you're both here, and it's centric to the podcast.
Fuck yes.
Should
I don't
turn
even
the
want to
light on?
spoil it. Yeah, you just need to open it, and then we'll explain the context behind why it was gotten.
Okay.
So, Nick, behind me to my right
And the box on the piano
is the gift. There you go. Everybody can't see this, but it is a rectangular box, and it is filled with a cardboard-ish paper.
There is a strange light coming from inside.
It is just like Kiss Me Deadly.
Faint music. I don't know what it is. Do-re-mi,
He is opening the gift.
do-re-mi,
He is pulling it open.
do-re-mi,
Lucas,
do-re-mi.
what is that? If
Oh
you
my
don't
God.
mind my asking.
It's the Holy Sword of Gabriel. Happy birthday, Lucas. Nah, just kidding. What is it, dude?
It is a Gravitron box.
What is a gravitron, Duke?
I honestly have no clue.
Well, Frank, if you would do me a solid and look behind you on that table and grab the gravitron, that would be wonderful. Nick, I'm going to let you take the mic to explain the rest.
Absolutely. So I think
Oh, fucking hell yes.
what Lucas is holding in his hands right now is a
Sell us.
glass
Sell us.
gravity bong. Gravitron, you better sponsor us for this one. This is a good one. Infomercial. Okay.
Give your
excuse me.
Nick's next
I got lost in the
infomercial.
sauce. It's just so nice. So we all have our preferred methods of smokage in the group. I know that Brandon is Blunt Man. I myself am Doink Boy. We all have the things that we bring to the table. And
I like a bong.
Duke has always been, Frank's a bong boy, and then and Jesse is the mixed bag. It's fantastic. But Lucas has always been the
Dabber.
Wow,
We'll
God.
call you the dabber. Just
Yeah,
to
you
have
know
it all covered.
the dabber. Thank you. But then Lucas has always been the grab bong king. But we've always done it the old-fashioned way. You cut a 2-liter, you fill it a bucket, and you do it like a poor person. But now,
When you
With
say it out
tin
loud,
foil on top.
when you say it out loud,
Yeah, it's
fucking
crazy.
hey, we used to be poor people. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Used to
But
be.
now that we're not, shut up, Brandon. I know
Okay, okay.
we're all still poor.
Keep it going.
But now you've got the proper equipment for the proper title.
This is the most absolutely beautiful gift you could have gotten me.
Glass grab bong. Baby.
I needed this so bad because my girlfriend is already sick of the grab bong bucket we have. At
Well,
my
now
house.
you're gonna turn her into a grab bong aficionado.
Oh hell yeah! I appreciate it.
You are a grab
Nicholas.
bong savant.
You love to see it. You love to hear it live. A genuine moment of gift giving.
Fun fact.
And
Can I-
weed.
Jessica, can I tell him the fun fact?
What's the fun fact?
About the Gravitron?
Go for
About
it.
like our Gravitron?
Yeah, go for it. Oh, you mean like what happened with the whole thing? So Nick discovered the Gravitron. Like it was something that he pitched to me as a gift. Like, oh, should I buy this for Lucas? I was like, yes, it's perfect. Lucas is the grab bong king. Well known around these parts. Anyway, I was like, yeah, get him that gift. And so he was like, I'm going to send it to your house because I don't want to send it to my parents' house. And I was like, got it. Okay, right on. So which also recently, just want to congratulate on Mike. Nick is a home renter now. Solo. It's crazy shit.
Welcome
We
to
love it.
hell.
Anywho's all
Wait, you've done it before.
Lucas, when that grab bong was bought, it was shipped to this establishment, and I was like, I want to crack into that thing. I want to get it.
Hey, what is, he's like,
And I looked it up, and it was available, and I bought one. And then I said, hey, Nick, I bought one. Is it cool if I give that one that's coming later to Lucas? And he was like, absolutely. So technically, both of these are yours, but that one's mine now. The one that I'm pointing to for the audience who's listening.
You get the new
live
one.
in their ears, but not in ours.
We'll see
We're
once
listening live in our ears, but not in yours.
Well, we'll see once I leave this podcast. So.
This
Podcast.
what?
I said podcast.
Put it back in the
No,
box.
you
You don't get
didn't.
it
I
anymore.
try
Replay
to I
it.
try,
Replay it.
I
Truth
guess I try to
denial.
enunciate it, but it sounds I'm legit
All
trying
right,
to say
honestly,
podcast.
Duke, it's
All right.
okay. It took us episodes.
Yeah. Episodes.
It also took us
I
episodes
still
to get
say
Scorsese.
podcast.
Scorsese.
Sassy.
Sassy.
Everybody say it with us.
Sassy.
Sassy.
Sassy,
Sassy.
sassy, sassy, sassy. All right,
Yes.
we're leaving. We
Yeah.
want to go.
We're
Time
gonna
to
go
watch
watch
Hugo.
Hugo. We're gonna go watch Clock Towers, the Borat.
And I'm gonna try this
Yeah.
Gravitron.
Hell yeah! dude.
Remember, Lucas, the Gravitron is the way to the future.
The way of the
The way of the
future.
future.
The way to
The way to the future. The way to the
Way to the
future.
future.
The way to the future.
The way of the
Fucking
future.
Goodbye.
And bye-bye.
You-
Wait.
Bye-bye.
I'm Frank.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Duke.
I'm Nick.
Signing
And
off.
this is the Chronic Canon. Signing
Bye.
off.
And
Pull yourself
bye-bye.
together.
And bye-bye.
And bye-bye.
Pull yourself together.
Bye.